Someday. Someday I'm going to figure out whether or not this thing is working. Like right away. I mean, it always seems to be when I go back and I look at the episode the next day. Like everything looks fine. Like as soon as I click start streaming, it appears to be working. But all of the analytics and the diagnostics take like a minute to a minute and a half before anything happens. Basically because I can't hear myself nor know what I sound like other than congested. There's a mixer, the audio mixer, and I'm watching the waveform. Oh, yes. We are prime. We are now prime. Our focal length isn't no more zoom. The lens is right. The kit lens is right over there. We went with a 22 millimeter fixed focal length, which will focus in at like some like ridiculous short ranges. So we can really get in there now. It's got a nice little soft to it. And the biggest complaint that I read when I ordered this lens, and I'm sort of limited in lenses on the EFM lens mount, was that the motor is loud. And I was like, who cares if the motor's loud? Yeah, this motor is loud. When I get up near it, it goes, It sounds like a printer running in another room. But I love the look of the lens. And this would be a prime lens. This would be a double prime lens, prime being fixed focal length. Also, basically a 22 millimeter would be the equivalent of a 35 millimeter on a full frame camera. And this is an APS-C camera. So this is like, this would be, what you're seeing is basically what your eye would see. There's no fancy stuff going on via the camera. The focus is not quite as fast as it was on the other lens. But I like the output. It's a quicker lens. I can run a much lower f-stop. This thing goes down to 2, so like the colors are more poppy. It's sharper. Whenever I think about buying something nifty for RC cars, I'm like, we can also buy some camera equipment too. That's the hobby that resides inside the hobby. So to those of you all to the 39 concurrent viewers on here right now, welcome back, everybody. Yes, 22 millimeter f2 EFM. Yes, it was on sale. They got me. I had looked at it a couple times before. I think there's only like 7 or 8 lenses for EFM, and I don't want to go. I don't want to go to an adapter. I'm running it. I think I'm running it f4. I don't want it to go too bokeh. Like Hockey Guy is just almost in focus, but all of the background foreground stay in focus pretty well. Yeah, the color is the most noticeable one. The 22. I was afraid that it was going to have like rounding over here. Can I get my fingers in the corner? There's one. I was afraid I was going to get rounding over here. Yeah, like we got this one in focus and this one out of focus. Yeah, it's got a pretty good focal window on it. I'm not mad about it. Someone I don't know anything about cameras, so I have no idea what you're talking about. I was very fortunate in being born a long time ago, when the only kind of cameras that there were cameras that used film. So I had to learn how to shoot on film. And you took your photography, and this is no disrespect to anyone today, but you had to take your photography very seriously. Because the film was expensive, the paper was expensive, the chemicals to develop it was expensive, everything was expensive. And basically, I started on a Pentax K1000, which was nice. It had a luxury feature and then had a built-in light meter, which was a needle on the side that as you cycled through your stops, the needle would move and you wanted to get it in the middle. But you still had no idea what the image was going to look like until you hopefully successfully processed your film and then made your proof sheet and started developing your stuff. So I learned all of the camera things, aperture, priority, shutter speed, the effects on depth of field, all that stuff. and it's been a hobby that has been lurking in the background pretty much as long as all of the other stuff. You know what I've seen now? They're making digital backs to go on to like old Polaroid land cameras and like Hasselblads and stuff like that. And it still gets the image quality still looks like it was taken from one of those, and I hate to use the phrase, old timey cameras. So I think it's brilliant. I mean, keeping the technology going, because nowadays, uh, film is hard to come by and more expensive than it used to be. I still have a Sony. My first digital was a big Sony full frame, which is I think 10 megapixel, something like that. It might be 8 megapixel, but because it's a full frame, it still shoots the sharpest pictures you've ever seen. Like you'll shoot something on today that's like 26 megapixel, and it won't be as sharp as the pictures from that ancient Sony. Yeah, it was expensive, hence why I know nothing. I know how to load a film. Yeah, it was the developing the film. You put it in the either in the hood or you go in the dark room and you got to get it. You get a bottle opener, pop it out of the can, and then you're worried the whole time that the film's gonna stick to itself inside the developer and you're just gonna get brown goo out of it. I don't. There's a lot of the aspects of photography that I don't miss. I do enjoy, like I shoot the outdoor camera and this camera. Well, there's two outdoor cameras in this camera. They're both Canon M50s. And I have a Canon M200, that's camera 2, because I can afford a basic mirrorless, but you know, when you're watching most of the channels, like if you're watching guys who are doing more money, like 10K into their camera setup. What you're seeing right now is about $700. We try to keep the we try to keep the filming setup in a similar price range to what it costs to build a rig, because otherwise, I mean, you know, Canon's got these new cameras that are built like specifically for video. I think it's the 6 series, like $6,000. Like, I mean, I have to put things into perspective. I don't do anything that warrants a $6,000 camera. Sometimes I think to myself, I barely do anything that warrants a $500 camera. And the M50 is now, to my knowledge, completely discontinued. It's been replaced by the R series, and it is a full shrinkflation. It is the R50 is the Fordyce to the M50's Phoenix, to put it into a relatable perspective. I've got some bits for our heavy-bodied boy. He's basically getting the same bits that Yella runs, as I try to avoid things like knuckle weights and additional, it. I've seen it now. They're down to like $80 on Amazon now, which is pretty close to AliExpress pricing. And $80 is almost in line with what we're paying for Lexan nowadays. First of his name. So he's going to get some brass bits. And this was going to be done in advance. This was going to be done because I've been holding back the redux of the Duratrax pivot. Christina Rombo is watching. She is watching for the first time now. So I will gladly say, hey, Christina Rombo, so long as she doesn't try to get me to eat any sort of candy that will make me almost die. I have now, I don't know if shared is the word, but I have lured 3 or 4 people into trying those things, and the reviews are pretty consistent. Maybe not quite as visceral as my reaction, but they're pretty severe. So the Swedish candies that I got from that guy. I mean, Norway's got some good candies too, but I think in terms of the candies that I was provided from those two Scandinavian nations, I have to give the edge to Sweden, even if in Sweden they do the, what is it, lakris? Is that right? The puderpulver. Even if they do it, he didn't send me one. So the Norway guy's kid forced me to eat it, and I'm still not happy. Nugget, lots of rain in Iowa this weekend. I awoke this morning to mist, and I thought I can wait it out. And I filmed the indoor portion of, I think, Sunday's video. And then I thought, oh, it'll clear up. And went outside, and it misted more and more and more and more. And it just kept misting. And it's still misting now. We had no forecast of mist, rain, anything. It was supposed to be like low 70s today. It's about 50 degrees outside. It's about 55 degrees in here. It is cold. And about 1 week ago, it was 95 degrees. So, I seen you haven't done a mental score for the junks yet. Yeah. I've looked at the list, and it has to be at a time on a day when my brain is there, because some of my recollections of those junk tires are so dim that I don't even remember driving them. She wanted me to rewind so she could film when you said it. I am effectively a stranger on the internet, but I was talking to a buddy of mine that is a school teacher about 30 miles that way. And there was an HVAC guy there working on obviously on the HVAC. And somehow the conversation turned to rock crawling and toy cars. And the HVAC guy was like, and my buddy was like, hey, you should check out this channel. And the HVAC guy was like, I watch that channel all the time. So that is some very minor form of fame. I'm known in at least a circle 30 miles away. Well, I mean, all of you are more than 30 miles away. But to you, I am but a wraith and or specter that exists only in this space. But I do exist. Happy Friday. Hello, fellow Canyoneros. Indeed. I second that notion. I should have gotten these open too. So I have been frantically, I was trying to sit here and figure out, so OBS has a thing called, that's the software that's making this possible. It has a thing called scenes where I'm supposed to be able to like transition shots, like I could show you other pictures. I can't figure out how to do it. I'm on 2 allergy pills, and I sneezed myself awake at 4:45 in the morning. So I've already been up for a long time, and I think I take 2 different allergy pills, fake blue ones and the fake green ones, and I'm kind of like this. So out in the mist, I painted. I wanted to share images. I'm going to have to wait. Maybe I'll put it in a short or something. I don't know. My brain still doesn't trend towards always be contenting. I don't think about it until it's already over. For instance, I spent most of the morning after filming in the mist. I finished the fence extension that was required because I had a wonderful day when it was so hot. It was so hot. The metal shed is no more. The highlight of my week, month, and year. It's gone. I tore it all down in one day because my neighbor with the container said, it's getting pretty full. I might have to take that one. So I was like, I'll put some more stuff in that. I have never actually gone to an allergist because My allergies are completely known quantities. It's the green stuff. The green stuff outside is what gives me allergy. I'm fine with cats. I'm not allergic to dogs. It's pollens, man. It is seasonal allergies, and when they hit me, man, it is not great. And yeah, so it's fake Claritin and fake Zyrtec. Those are my two. I'm a Zyrtec man. I find it works better than the Claritin. I have no resistance or resilience against pharmaceuticals. My wife is the categorical opposite of that and has a Hulk-like resistance to pharmaceuticals. Genetics, I guess. She has to take the real deal, the one that you got to swipe your driver's license to buy the Sudafed so that they can make sure you're not making meth out of it. Pseudoepinephrine, is that right? Something like that. Pseudo, they just call it Suto. She can take, follow along with me, 240 milligram. I took a 60 milligram one time, and I felt like I was a hummingbird. Like, my heart rate blasted up to about 95 and just stayed there, and she takes 240s. That'd be like me taking, if I take a Benadryl, like if the allergies are really bad and I would just rather choose unconsciousness, I'll just take a Benadryl. Just a regular, generic, Costco-sourced fake Benadryl, and I'll just go to sleep. Just straight to sleep. That is the effect of, but I have no resilience at all. What do you know of seasons? We can have all four in less than that many days. Well, here's what we've done. Climate change? I was taking the shed down on Wednesday. It was the thermometer in here said 75. The thermometer that's out back, the one that doesn't have centigrade on it, said 88. And out in the direct sun, it felt like mid-90s. And today, it's barely 50 degrees. So we used to have this thing where it was just like this. 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70. And then summer would come in and it would 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Last year, it rained in July. It has not rained in July in my life. It was very strange. So we're not quite up to the Midwest. You know the old Midwest joke, don't like the weather, wait 20 minutes. But it is getting proper weird here. I have my first comp tomorrow. I have 2.2 Rover EX, 2.2 Canyon Trails, and 1.9 Ruptures Capra width. What should I use? On 14-inch gates. Oy. I would probably lean towards the Ruptures, unless you've got some really, unless you've got the wheel where the mounting, get them tucked in as tight as you can. But I would probably go Rupture on that. 2.2 Canyon Trails, depends on the insert, depends on the terrain. I think the Rover is probably going to have slightly the most grip. But the Rupture is going to be really close behind it. They both have a really rounded profile. The 2.2 Canyon Trail doesn't particularly have a hard shoulder either. Just because of the gate width, I would think Rupture, because the Rover EX is an absolute balloon, and I think you're going to be really wide on Capra axles. You're probably going to be around a foot, unless you've got some real tucked-in wheels. And on a 14-inch gate, 2 inches to spare is not a lot. I set the gates here to 15 inches. That's the unofficial Canyon standard. What were the big tusks called? Tomorrow I'm going to a competition and the weather says snow mixed with rain, or AKA a nightmare. Usually we have like 60 to 70 Fahrenheit right now. Yeah. Spring is coming in fits and starts, and what's going to happen here is not what's going to happen there. You're not going to get to experience it. One day, we're going to wake up, and it's going to be 99 degrees. 11 and 5/8 with 2 Canyon trails. Okay. So the Rovers have got to put you over a foot. They're so wide. I mean, I love a 2 Canyon trail, but unless you've got those things tuned, I think the Rupture is 2 by 525. LPs? Well, then there's the big Tusk. I comp on 12-inch gates with capper axles. Yeah. Keep it under 975. Yeah. Well, then there's the big Tusk, and then there's the even bigger Tusk. You got the 575 Tusk, and then you've got the 7-inchers that come on the SCX6, which I almost put on RoboKitty, but did not due to cost. They are phenomenally expensive. It's the wheels. Sold out everywhere. Yeah. The Tusk LP, the 2.2 LP is such a hot commodity now that you can buy Ruptures. On Tuesday, I passed a test for my driving license on the first try. We'll give you the official. Come on, read it. There it is. And now, I've definitely talked about it before. I was an automobile enthusiast, and then the world has too many people in it. And the world in California, none of those too many people know how to drive. So I loathe going anywhere now. I don't know if any of you are aware, but I built this rock crawling course in my backyard, sort of as a method to avoid having to go anywhere. But yeah, congratulations on passing your test. For some frame of reference, if I remember correctly, HVOT 03 is an anomaly among the Canyon Arrows in that he is a youth, and I'd like to share with him that I passed my driver's test in what's the month before June? May. In May of the year of our Lord 1989. So I'm sure that's HVT 03 minus 15. I love driving, but I hate driving. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, see, that's the thing. This is what I wish for all folk, and it is partly because we enjoy sharing misery. And the thing that I would wish for all folk is that you just for one day, have to be in Southern California. And you're going to have to be in Southern California, and you're you have your choice. You can pick one of three. You can pick the 10 freeway, the 91 freeway, or the 405. One of those three, and we're going to put you in a car, and you're going to put it on it, and you will be like, this is not Earth. This is not a thing that happens in reality. And it's not. It's more people, presumably, all going the same direction than you've ever seen. It is nightmarish. We want to share the punishment with other innocent people. Hey, look at that! That went right on there. Hey, we'll just get on the freeway. If you come out here to visit, we'll just get on the freeway and we'll start driving until we hit the traffic. That should take like 5 minutes. I've been stuck in traffic at 3:00 in the morning on a Tuesday. You got your license literally the month after I was born. Yeah. I'd love to be in Southern California, but not on the freeway. Yeah, nobody wants to be on the freeway here. But the thing is, they built Southern California out of freeways. The only way to get from point A to point B is to get on the freeway. See, this is how baseline and now Lord Pentaby by extension, first of his name, both ended up on nothing but bearings. Because when I pull this out and pull this apart, I'm not going to press those bushings out just to put them in the brass thing. I'm just going to grab bearings out of the bin and put bearings in it. So it's not as if I ran out and bought bearings specifically for this purpose. We just have, drawers full of bearings. Ruptures are nicely broken in and have Tim inserts that feel great in them. Yeah. I think the rupture will probably give you the most consistency. And they don't have a really super pronounced lug. It's not tall. And in my experience, it doesn't load up real bad. Now, if it's messy out, whoa, that was if it's messy out, I think the Canyon Trail might swing back into first place, because that deeper lug will help you cut through the other stuff. But if it's dry out, the rupture is going to beat everybody else. Well, because of the width. So I could drive my first car, 1964 Dodge Dart, 3 on the tree. I've had to drive one vehicle in my life that had a manual transmission on the column. Not a fan. I can do without that. That is a remnant of the past. Much how, like, when I'm riding a bicycle, I want integrated shifting where the brakes and the shifter are all together. I don't want to reach down and pull a lever down at the bottom where I'm going to feel like I'm going to die. So yeah, the manual on the column, do not miss. I do like a manual. My Subaru is the first car I've owned without a manual in it. Because, I'm getting old. So I just came into an unopened axial rift, and I want to make it into a crawler. I was watching your videos, but that was drinking some Kool-Aid that I just can't go. There are, I learned this later, you can buy an off-the-shelf 3-gear adapter for the Rift skid, and just drop any 3-gear gearbox in it, and save yourself a ton of work. The problem for crawling with the Rift is not the axles, it's not any of that, it's the gearbox, the stock gearbox. The gearing in low is typically what we would have in high for a crawler gearbox. So get an adapter and get I would say a stealth, because then you've got overdrive, underdrive in the gearbox. You're done. Chat will disappear for a second, so I can't figure out how to make my Opera window and my chat window stay visible at the same time. Rift 3-gear adapter. Because I can't remember who makes it. 1/10. It's on 1/10 and they're out of stock, of course. Shapeways, you can print one. That's 10.3. No, Vader only makes one for Capra. They don't make one for Rift. But yeah, you can absolutely just put a 3-gear in it and not build a gearbox from scratch, which is a crazy thing. Have you tried any of the Genius tires? No. I do want to try the 2.2. What is it? Sem Fronteras, the 2.2s. They're like basically LP sized. I kind of want to change all of these LP ones. Do you have any crawlers with a 2-low? I have 2. Lolo, who still doesn't have a garage spot. We'll just be unkind. So fake 2-low in Lolo. Barely fit. Like, the 2-low is such a specific thing. Like, it would be a lot easier to fit it into something with like a 380 in it. And if your rig is light enough, you can get away with it. He's got one. And, it's 2 hands to get this back on. And my other 2-low, I have a third 2-low, but it is not installed in anything. And the second one is noisily located right here above the mic, is Zoidberg. And his has got the dumbness required to fit a 2-low without rebuilding the chassis. So we cut out a little bit so it clears the motor. We cut out a little bit so it clears the gearbox. It is on a shim that tilts the gearbox this way and this way to account for the skid. So it's got a multi-angle kick to it. It works great, but it is oh God, what a pain. What an absolute pain. And that is pretty much the reason that I haven't fitted the third one, because just getting it in anywhere is, it doesn't like any chassis. And then I remind myself, you make chassis, you could just make a chassis to fit it. Wide skid would correct a lot of problems. So I might just have to do that. For a home rock garden, I was thinking of doing some rip wrap. Rip wrap? Yeah, rip wrap. Get your rip wrap down, and then just I use mortar mix. Just do mortar and just naturalify it. You know, rock glue them together. Any advice for steering servos? TRX4, more torque, but not too much where a BEC is needed. Upgrade from a stock servo. Honestly, if your budget is small, Amazon Blue Case or AliExpress 3235 will be a perfectly competent upgrade. It's not going to be the beefiest because 35 kg is kind of about the minimum of what I would recommend. 50 kg is a good spot. If you're comfortable spending in the $50, $60 range, a 50 or 60 kg from Flash Hobby, whether it be receiver powered or direct powered, any of those would be absolutely great. You don't really need anything more than that, honestly. I have bought so many of the 60 kg, 50 and 60 kg Flash Hobbies that I've quite legitimately lost count. Okay, good. Can't wait to build links and mounts for my Servo clone, for my Zoidberg clone. Do you have a CNC router or mill? I do not. I do everything by hand. Because it's the reason that the 3D printer that I got for my birthday in November is still in a box. Because I'm lazy by nature, so I don't want to learn how to like use the 3D printer. I don't want to tinker. So I just make the parts out of aluminum and stuff. I do want to get it started. Would you want? Oh wait, I'm going too far. I was looking at a Reefs Raw 800 till I saw the price. Yeah, $160. Yeah, my comfort zone for a servo is about $70 and below. And for a lot of builds, I just can't justify, like if I want to buy something fancy, I'll get myself an AGFRC that's like $80, SA75. The SA75 is one of my favorite servos ever. It's brilliant. But they're usually like $85 and I go, oh, $85. Fake too low and my AMK chassis is kicked in at almost 45 to get it to clear the motor and top links. Yeah, it wants the shortest, it wants a little pancake of an outrunner. It's sporty stuff. It's sporty stuff. Would you want to review Nordic crawl stuff, chassis and gearbox maybe? Yeah. Anything that shows up, I'll review. That's the modus operandi here. Last night you were kind of poo-pooing external BECs when a Fusion SE, it's almost mandatory they are only 3 amp. No, if you're gonna put a Fusion SE in, you just saved this is a technical term, a buttload of money by putting in a power plant plus ESC that either cost you $70 or $80. Just buy a direct powered servo. I don't think I have a receiver powered servo on any vehicle here that's fitted with a Fusion SE. Oh, why would you? And that's the thing. You can get a direct power 3S and 4S capable. A Flash Hobby 50 or 60 kg, like what Baseline runs, that's like a $60 servo, direct power. By the time you buy a servo and a BEC, it's not going to be cheaper than just spending $60 on a direct power servo. So unless you're running in some sort of odd situation where you can't run a 3S/4S direct power servo, I don't see putting BECs in. Can a servo be too fast? In my opinion, yes. I just answered this in a comment. When I'm looking for a servo, I'm looking for, at the slower end, 0.16 seconds, and at the fastest end, 0.09. Faster than 0.09, the SA75 V2 is too fast. You need to use the programmer on it because it goes... It is so fast. And because it has so much torque, you get up on the rock and you're up there and you're holding the steering like this. And if you let go of the wheels go and will just eject you off the side of the hill. And when they're that fast, like 007 and faster, I can't get accustomed to that level of speed. I like a 0.1. Great. 0.12. I will accept up to about like 0.18, 0.20, which is what you're getting on, the previously shown like this, or I think the DS Power the Green is very, these aren't super similar, are they? Like I think they're using a lot of this. I think there's a lot of the same bits in them. I have not torn them apart to see if there's any gear commonalities. Oh, it moved a little fast. But you need a lot of time to learn and practice. 45 kg in my... Yeah. You're not lazy, just learning to print in CAD is going to be a learning nightmare. Yeah. Have you seen the Rogue AMK fake Dravtex with threaded seal retainers? No. I have not. Yeah, I did the test pretty much side by side of the Flash Hobby. Oh, I was supposed to be getting Threadlagger. Of the Flash Hobby 50 kg and 60 kg up against the 60 kg 9 iMod. The iMod 9 iMod is just a little bit slower and a bit louder. But, functionally... I'm not saying that I have a lot of Trial decals, but it's what I'm going to use to put my thread lock on. We can only have so many stickers. Couldn't get fat. Yeah. If you're racing or drifting or something like that, yeah, servo speed. But typically, when we're in a racing buggy, might have a 250 ounce servo. We're talking about servos with 700 ounces. So when it returns faster than I can move my hands, it will just throw you off of the rock. I had to find a rig that was suitable for that SA75 V2. It was too fast. It's just too fast. Because I think it's an either 007 or it might be an 06. It's irresponsibly fast. But yeah, definitely in racing. Yeah, especially 10th buggy. I love the Flash Hobby 60 kg for the money, and if you don't mind direct power, it's an absolute brute. Yeah. I genuinely prefer direct power. I gotta stop leaving things under things. Are the 50 kg Flash Hobby servos basically plug and play with the power track system remotes and electronics? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Most any servo, you're gonna have to set endpoints, and depending on what flavor of TQI you have, will determine how difficult setting those endpoints are. Some are more difficult than others, like the OGTQ. This is scaring. This is going swimmingly. Broke a tooth in a 9 iMod. Yeah. Become a Yonters convert. Here's the thing. The Yonters are essentially, in every version I've seen, the exact same price as Flash Hobby. So I do that thing that humans do, which is go with the thing we know. Or more expensive. I have also seen ones that are more expensive. I'm not opposed to the Yonter servos. Yeah, Svax. The stock XL5 HV have a handy JST that should work fine with the direct power. To my knowledge, and someone would have to correct me to alter that knowledge, that JST that comes out of the XL5 is basically just soldered to the power terminals. So it's just unregulated. Whatever your input voltage is, that's what's passing out into there. So yeah, it's a perfect thing to plug a direct power servo in. One of the for me, that's a selling point for the XL5HV. I wish we could send pics with our questions. So do I. And YouTube claimed that they were giving us the ability to, maybe it's still rolling out and it just hasn't happened yet. They claimed they were giving us the ability to respond to comments with shorts. I don't just want it, I need it. Because someone had asked a question last night, I think, about they're getting their first rig and they don't know if they're ready to move into a kit or piecing something together by themselves. So they're like, what's the best RTR out right now? And I penned a long response. It was like 5 paragraphs long. And then YouTube ate it. YouTube was like, nope, you didn't tell that guy nothing. So I wrote him about 2 sentences mentioning that it got 8. Have I received my email about the servos? Oh yes, the DS powers, the DS powers of unknown lineage. Yeah, I've never seen any of those servos, but I am going to look. I'm going to look for them, and I would at least like to try the second to last one and the last one. I think that's right. The DS30, the one that is like, was it like 33 and 36, something like that? If that servo's cheap, it would definitely be something that I would be interested in looking at. And, you know, because they're AliExpress stuff, I imagine that they are. Did I put the right thing on? I did. Look at that. Without even trying. Best RTR right now is the Vanquish Phoenix. I mean, you could make that argument. And I wouldn't be standing up against you. And I in my long penned response that got dissolved, I said that the cost of the Phoenix RTR is getting so close to the cost of the Phoenix kit that the motivation to buy the Phoenix kit it literally is almost boiling down to, do you want fenders and an interior? I mean, because the radio is pretty solidly okay, and the servo is reasonably halfway decent. It isn't all just, that's not lined up. It's not just throwaway electronics, particularly the radio. So I can see some of the allure now of the RTR Phoenix. That looks right. Where do you buy Flash Hobby servos? I get all mine off of Amazon. I know AliExpress exists, and on occasion I do order things from there, particularly things that are only available there, like the GRC knuckles for TRX4. It's like the only place on earth you can find them. But the way I look at it, I look at Amazon as AliExpress, but with express shipping. AliExpress Express. Because, yeah, like a speed control might cost $20 more on Amazon. But I can have it, sometimes I can have it the same day. Waiting for AliExpress. Yeah, too geek to be chic. I like direct power servos because they are often the same price as receiver power, but don't require operating the ESC to get full power. And the thing is, if they used more expensive guts in them, they wouldn't have such ridiculous power requirements as many of them do. Not all of them, but there are a more than desirable number of BEC powered servos that are pulling 6, 7, 8 amps. Problem with those, the Phoenix kit is not for beginners. Yeah. No, I would, Gares, you're 100% right. And it's nothing specifically about the Phoenix except for the VFD twin. If you're building your first gearbox, I don't think the VFD Twin is the one I would recommend. The LCXU is great. The one that comes in the base camp. If somebody nowadays, if somebody is asking about building their first kit, I think the only recommendation available nowadays is base camp builder's kit with the LCXU, because I don't know how many of you are aware, but I looked it up. The builder's kit 2 has been discontinued by Element. So that means that as of today, the 26th of April, Element doesn't make a kit. Not one. All gone. They discontinued the Gatekeeper last year. Didn't just discontinue the Gatekeeper, they discontinued the kit and the RTR. So that's gone. Then they discontinued the Builder's Kit. I don't know when. They still show as... they don't show up in the model list on Element anymore. So that's gone. Yeah, no more BK2. And they didn't even wait until Builder's Kit 3, if Builder's Kit 3 ever becomes a thing. They didn't even wait until Builder's Kit 3 was like announced or threatened, or however you would go about that. They just said, we're just going to axe it. So within what? That's less than 90 days between Traxxas killing the Sport Kit and Element killing the Builder's Kit 2. What trans setup do you recommend for the 10-2, the SCX 10-2? Any 3 gear, and it's going to cost you about the same amount of money. You can go ultra cheap. You can put a $20 gearbox in there and then be unhappy with it later. The Amazon Digbox, there's a $29.99 version of the Amazon Digbox available now, and it's the same exact Digbox that was the $60 QT Dig Gearbox, which is a straight up absolute clone of the Vanquish Hertz Dig Gearbox. To the point where the parts are interchangeable. You can take a Vanquish Hertz Dig unit and just stick it onto the $30 Amazon Dig box. That's my recommendation, because Dig is like a drug, and once you take that drug, you'll keep taking that drug. It's also, $30 for that and about $20 for a servo to run it, and then you're done. You just put it in. And they've gotten a lot better. I would love to think that I was a part of it, but I know for a fact that I wasn't, because I used to say, boy, wouldn't it be great if they would actually put some lube into this gearbox when they put it together? And then all of a sudden they did. Those Dig gearboxes, I don't have to completely disassemble them anymore when I get them, because there's actually grease inside the gearbox. And they come in all black or all gold. But yeah, you can't go wrong. Otherwise, if you have no interest in Dig, I would say get a stealth. Okay, I cannot see, I won't be able to see chat for a moment, because whenever I bring up my window, it disappears. Okay, I'll just send you the link. I'll get you the link to the gold one. Copy that. And then I click OBS. And I go paste. Let's see what this one right now. There you go. Look at that. Axial base cam K10 factory rim. Shocks are leaking. What weight shock oil do you recommend? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what oil you put in them, they gonna leak. You need to get yourself 2 packages of TRA2362, which are the Traxxas seal rebuild kits for big bores. You throw those in there, just replace all of the factory seals with those seals, and then it won't leak anymore. With the stock pistons, I would either run 30, 35, 40 weight, somewhere in there. I believe the most recent set, which would be right here, I think it's these. Digging. So this is a little bit of a heavy spring, but that's 40 weight, and it will slow that heavy spring down. So are they like, oh, good, they're not clamped. So this is 40 weight in there. It's about right. It's about right. A little overfilled. But 40 weight is a good spot. I tell people if you can only afford to buy a take home 1 bottle of oil, 40 weight is not a bad place to be, unless all of your shocks are like big bores, in which case I do 300 CST, aka 27.5 weight. And I either buy the big low-C bottles, like, I don't know if I can reach over the camera. I either get the big low-C ones like this, 40 weight is purple, or I get the big associated bottles. Those I realize they're in frame, the big guys, the 4-ounce bottles right there. My main shaft wobbles. Is there a fix on that gear dig box? One of two things seems to be the culprit on the low quality control on the $30 dig box, which is either the bearings are off-sized, so they're either sloppy in the case, meaning the outside isn't the right measurement, or they're sloppy on the shaft, no, zero puns, so the inside bore is incorrect. First step, just try throwing those two bearings away and putting new bearings in, see if that does it. If it doesn't, if they're rattling in the case, you can just put a little Teflon tape around them and tighten them up. If it's rattling on the top shaft, that is more of a problem. You can replace the lay shaft with one from virtually any 10.2 gearbox. I have a number of gearboxes here that are ugly hybrid boxes that are just swap-arounds. Yeah, Ed Scrivener points out Desert Lizard seals will work. They will absolutely work as well. But last we checked, Yeah Racing had discontinued the seal packs for Desert Lizards. You can still find them in OS, but they're getting more difficult to find. Like I don't think there's anywhere domestic that I can order them from. TRX 479 Bronco shocks, bought one and it came with Old Man Emus. There's nothing wrong with GTS, the Trex's GTS, the stock shocks that came on it. They must have replaced them because they wanted something that looked more scale. Nothing wrong with GTS. Nothing wrong with big bores, Dravtex, fake Dravtex. If you're on a tight budget, it's hard not to recommend fake Dravtex. I have a bag with them in. Russell. There we go. So you get these RC boys right here. I think the bag's already open. You get these greasy RC boys from Amazon, which look just like Dravtex. And then you get 2 packages of Traxxas TRA 2362s and replace all of the seals. And then you've got good shocks. These are $20 for the set of 4, and it'll cost you about $5 for the seal package. And then you just put them together and you fill them with oil. But the drawback to this is you will either need infinite patience or snap ring pliers to take the bottom ring off. That's the drawback. But the shocks are so cheap, you could buy yourself a one of these channel lock 926. This is the guy. Goes both ways. What? How do they do that? Expanding, squeezing. I don't know. It's magic. It's magic. Who is the black and white girl to the left of the pointy finger? You mean her right there? Unofficial patron saint of Crawler Canyon, Japanese lifestyle expert Marie Kondo. Fun fact: she's only 4'11". Marie Kondo has this running thing about like you only keep something if it sparks joy, right? Which is why like if I get a vehicle in here, a big determination as to whether or not money and time go into it is like, do I feel like doing it? Does it spark joy? And oftentimes it doesn't, so we just opt to go another way. That's why there's unused chassis and stuff hanging from the rafters over here because, yes, Old Man Emus are RC four-wheel drive internally sprung. They look just like the shocks that come on. They look just like... God, it's so heavy. They look just like these, only they're yellow. Look just like that, but yellow. Oh, yeah, I was busy this week. It was raining one day. So this is, of course, the Scottsdale. And look, no more battle axe. Look at how flat that is up there. Just hand bent a little 1/16 inch aluminum. Did a little table saw machining to flip the transfer case over. It had a carrier bearing, just went to a singular shaft on there. Still haven't driven it, as you can tell, because there's no scratches on it. But it can't be worse, right? We should have improved something. This guy's over here with his. How'd you get that on there?
My hands. I need to tighten it down.
Oh, you're going the other way.
Yeah. I need to tighten it down, then quarter turn it off.
No, we'll just blast it. Oh, we need something to hold it. There's a guy over here building it's a twin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Building a twin. That we can all be jealous of because he found it on Facebook Marketplace?
Yep.
He found it on Facebook Marketplace for $55. I'm pretty upset about it, to be honest. Because I've never gotten a VFD twin for $55.
Amazing.
There you go. If all the kits are gone, how about a Crawler Canyon shopping list of bits that will work together to make a good base platform? Okay. I'm gonna lose chat for a second again. Okay. Now the list is incomplete because I keep trying to add items and it won't let me do it. Okay, so paste. Okay, so that list dates back to November of last year when the Ascent had come out. People were asking me that very question. They were like, well, if the Ascent isn't good, then what can you do? And I was like, just get these Amazon parts and put them together, and it is something that you will be happy with. There are supposed to be 3 more items inside that wish list. The $16.99 RC Lions high clearance link kit, $16.99. An RC4GS, looks just like that. And, oh, look at this. We have everything in boxes. And Fusion 1800. Fusion SE 1800. And then that should be complete. That should be pretty much complete. You'll be missing an item, like you'll need fasteners and an item here or there. But it's going to come out about $450, I want to say. And the beauty of that $450 is you're done. You could get different rims, you could get a different body, you could get different tires. But I wanted to show something all-inclusive. And any of the Red Cat folks that think, oh, well, I don't actually have to put any money into it. Well, yeah. You don't have to. Okay, whew. If the kits are gone, yeah, okay, just do that. TRX 4 90mm is what I swear by, yeah. Yeah, DriveTechs or fake DriveTechs are great. My fake DriveTechs came with 6mm pistons. They're usually 7mm pistons. They're the pistons that are for the knockoff Traxxas GTS shocks. The pistons for big bores will fit. Old Associated pistons will fit. Old Losi pistons will fit. 10mm was a very popular piston size for a long time. So 10mm pistons aren't too hard to come by. Why are you going to drive? Why would you drive it? Okay. What was your career and education background? Okay, you got to go back even farther for that. My grandmother was an educator, a lifelong educator. She was the librarian for the county, for the school district, for the county for like 45 years. So she said to me, you're not going to go to a public school because she worked for the public schools. And she goes, you won't get an education. You'll just be trained how to live in a cage. It's basically, that's a paraphrase of what she had said about it. So she sent me to I went to a Catholic high school despite not being Catholic. And she made no bones about it. She made it very clear that I was going to go to college because she was a collegiate. She was on the archery team in college, if you can believe that. And she made it very clear that I was going to go to college. So I went to college, and I had a great time in college. I didn't have any intentions, really. I had no aspirations of going to college. But I went primarily for my grandmother because neither of her children had gone to college. And she took that kind of personal, I guess. So I went to college and I was going to be a geologist. And then I met a little man named Trigonometry, and my brain shuts off. I can multiply fractions in my head, but I can't do when they take out. I can do geometry because it's linked to something in the real world. Trigonometry, I don't know what trigonometry actually is. I call it theoretical geometry, and I don't like it. I hate it. So I realized I was never going to be a geologist because I was never going to get through the math. So I did what people of lazy minds do, and I went back towards what I'm already good at, which is using the words, and I got a degree in English. Creative writing, as a matter of fact, in English. And I took way more classes than I should have, and I took woodshop in college 11 times, and that's how I learned to do most of the things that I have. You go to college to learn what you're not going to do with your life, unless you're one of those 5%ers that actually do that. My wife's degree is in anthropology. We both went to college to find out what we weren't going to do with the rest of our lives. I enjoyed the collegiate experience. Some of my best jobs I ever had were in the work-study program at Cal State University, San Bernardino. I worked in the library. I worked in the architecture department. I had jobs that were genuinely enjoyable, and outside of those jobs, I have not really had a lot of jobs that I would classify as enjoyable. I worked termite control and remediation, and structural repair to repair from the termite damage. I did that for a couple of years, and then basically realizing that I couldn't work for a boss, I could not have a boss. Something inside of me detests being told to do something that I know to be wrong. I started making parts for Scions, and I did that for 15 years. And until I finally decided, I used to say I was going to keep doing it until it stopped making enough money to pay for itself, and it finally did. I stopped paying for the website. That was drisotope.com. And then now I'm a YouTuber now. So I guess that's what I do. I haven't had what I call a straight job. I haven't had a straight job since 2003, the year my oldest son was born. So over 20 years now, without having a boss, without having anybody to answer to, other than the main boss, my wife. Whatever she says goes. But yeah, I can't do it. I mean, I've been tempted on many occasions to get a part-time job down at the Lowe's. I live 1 mile from the Lowe's. I've been tempted to get a part-time job at the Lowe's just so that I can get the employee discount. But I know I wouldn't last a month because my immediate supervisor would be 22 years old. Fusion 1800 I haven't seen on Amazon lately. Yeah, they're all shipping directly from Hobbywing, but whatever their shipping estimates are, ignore it. I ordered my that box that you just saw. I ordered it last Wednesday and got it on Friday. Now I am on the West Coast, and Hobbywing USA is somewhere in California. So it was basically like it being on Prime. Unless the date is way out, like if it doesn't, I think it says Hobbywing US. If it just says like Hobbywing or Hobbywing Direct, that's China. You're better off ordering it on AMain or the online place of your choice. Chewed through my Spectrum servo and stock servo on the same day. That now you're doing it right. Yeah, I'm glad that I found a pretty much persistent link to the Fusk, because they sell under so many names they appear and disappear all the time. One thing wrong with the Traxxas GTS shocks, the spring cup can come off. I've never had that problem. It depends on what cup you're using, I think, though. The brass cups really hold on. But I've converted most of the GTS around here to using the 10 millimeter springs. Yes, my grandmother was probably the smartest person I've ever met. She was very smart. I got a little bit of it, not a lot of it. The part of the servo where the pin goes that holds one of the gears broke, so I don't know if it's repairable. It depends on what the servo is. Most high-end servos will have replacement gear sets, but if it's, if it's a cheap servo, like if it's some kind of Spectrum servo, you just buy a servo to replace it. If it's some sort of cheap Amazon servo, like sub $50, just buy a new servo. I treat servos almost as disposables at this point. Grabbed it on the first try. How much do you make on YouTube? It varies wildly, the amount of actual take home. Because we are paid. 1200 is currently on back order. I know they have the 1200s at Hobby Wing. They keep, every time they come back in stock, they send me an email. So I know Hobby Wing USA has them. And if you order from Hobby Wing, I think they charge shipping under like $99. But if you order from Hobby Wing on Amazon, it's Prime, so free shipping. So that's the way. Have you been told I sound like Ed Helms? I have, but I don't hear it. I don't hear it. So I can't say if I do or not. I get told, here's the thing. When I was younger, apparently I looked like everybody all at once, because I would get, people would stop me like in a supermarket and be like, excuse me, are you so-and-so? And I'd be like, ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. And now I apparently sound like everyone, because people will say, you know who you sound like? And I don't know. The part where the pin goes in on the base. I don't know. We're gonna have to take the top of a servo off. This was the reason that we had not proceeded. Was this guy. The gears and everything are fine. It just falls out of place. Huh. Oh, I do. We can just take this RS 500 apart. It's dead. It died a quick and sudden death. Okay. Because I'm curious. And it's gonna be fun with the delay. All right. All right. So I'm guessing when he says the pin in the base, I'm guessing one of these pins broke. Now, or either where the pin broke or where the pin goes into the case broke. If it's where the pin goes into the case, if that broke, I think you're done. I think the case is done. If the pin broke, they're just metric pins. So like these are 1.5 millimeter pins. So you can just get 1.5 millimeter drill stock and replace the pins. Yeah, see, this is why I don't throw these things away. All these gears are still in perfect condition. And I still have 4 RS500s in service. So if one ever shreds a gear, I've got gears. I keep hearing like a it almost sounds like somebody getting a text in another room, and it's this lens focusing. So those complaints on Amazon are correct. It's a noisy little guy. It does look good though. Wait, who do they say you look like? Let's see if that's true. I'm not falling for that. I'm not falling for your dark wizardry. Yes, so where the pin goes in? Yeah. Okay. Where the pin goes in to the case, or where the pin goes into the top? Because if it's where the pin goes into the top, you might be able to find a replacement. The thing is, unless you've got like a ProTech or something, I don't know how worthwhile it is to repair a servo under, say, $100. Yeah. That's kind of how I ordered a Blazer body for my TRX4, and it came in the next day, Traxxas being in Texas and me being 4 hours away. Yeah, I have that advantage with A-Main. They're in Chico? NorCal? Which, you know, if we were on the East Coast, that would be 3 states away. But here, it's in California. I just noticed my live is a little behind. Yeah, if you hit pause, I think it pauses, and then you can be off of live. I remember going over to the sister-in-law's house to watch the Super Bowl. One of the few times per year we go over there was to watch the Super Bowl. And someone, unbeknownst to the rest of us, had paused the TV at some point, and we were actually watching the Super Bowl like 20 minutes out of phase. So by the time we were getting to the good part, the game was over. The game was already over. Yeah, so. Oh, yeah. If you pull it out, you can see a solid hole. It's a Spectrum. It's like $113. Oh, then you get, God help you, sir. But I would say contact Horizon to see if you can get a replacement set of case plastics for that Spectrum servo. If that's even a thing. Because it might not be, it might be, it might not be. But it should be for $100+ servo. Horizon is in Illinois. Yeah, I loved Tower Hobbies so much. Tower Hobbies was one of my favorite things in the world. And then it was gone. Oh no. I gotta take this whole front end apart. It's not so high torque and plastic gears. I don't know. I was thinking probably a solid buggy servo though. Yeah, plastic gears. Nowadays, there's really no excuse for for plastic gears nowadays. We have to take this whole. I have to take this whole front end apart. I thought I could get by, but it's not letting me by. Tower Hobbies is where I got my first slash from. Samesies. Tower Hobbies is where I got my first most everything from. Was Tower Hobbies. Before the buyout, they were the source, man. And then they got bought by Horizon. And when they got bought by Horizon, Traxxas said, we don't do business with those people. And I mean, it might not have been official, but that was the death knell for Tower Hobbies, really. Like at that time, Tower Hobbies was big, but Traxxas was real big. I stand by Traxxas as the Apple of the RC world because they don't really make that many things. They control a fair chunk of the market. Yeah. $10 servos are metal geared. It might not be good metal, but it's metal. Yeah. That is absolutely correct. Plastic gears in a servo in this day and age, that's wild. Especially, I mean, you know, I can't say that I'm super surprised having that from our good folks at Horizon. Oh, so the Trail King is gone. I had one of those in my save for later for a long time. And I saved it for later for just a little bit too long. And now it's gone. Okay, I think I think I can get away with a lock nut in there. I know why they stuck to the panhard mount on the shock tower, because this is annoying. Nobody wants to do this. I don't want to do this, but I definitely learned that you cannot have that panhard mount. Where did it go? You cannot have this panhard mount with any servo of any torque above a Reedy 1523. It will just completely flex it out of the way to the point where it steers twice as sharp to one direction as it does to the other. Yeah. I feel Horizon did tower dirty. That was it wasn't specifically said as a buy and kill, but it was a buy and kill. They bought it to, maybe they bought it for the distribution in that part of the world, but I don't know. It certainly didn't benefit any of us. I've been abusing the crap out of this. Yeah, some things refuse to die. And, sadly, don't make them like they used to. I hope these lock nuts are short enough. I've been getting lazy, which is why lazier than usual, I should clarify, which is why I was dead set on this thing being chassis mounted steering. It's class 1. I'm troubleshooting that $55 VFD. Yeah, it had just slid forward. So see, now the pin is where the pin should be. It's gonna, once you put the back of it on, it's gonna hold that out. Oh, I see what the problem is. I've got it. We need a stopper. What has happened is, when I tighten the nut down, this thing has a little shape. See, fixed it already. It wasn't tightened down all the way. No more wiggly wobbly now.
Should I knock it out a little or no?
Oh, we can do that. After it's put together, it'll be a lot easier to do that because you can just hold the drive shafts.
Thank you, sir.
Have you seen the chassis that Double Clutch Productions YouTube channel is selling? No, I haven't. Somebody needs to email me a link, and I'll look at it. My way too early review on the F10T clones is that at least one's got fairly good. Imagine they hold up to TF2. Only potential point of concern is the front CVD. And the potential point of concern is the front CVD on, let's be honest, a lot of axles. Particularly if they're using a CVD instead of a universal. Yeah, and I've heard on the open market of F10s and F10Ts going for $300 a pair. So yeah. And as has been alluded to, it is most certainly hit and miss. You might have no problems whatsoever, like many folk have reported, well, not many, several folk have reported having Mias axles, Mias nylons blow up either the rear drive shafts or the front drive shafts, and I've never had a single problem with any of them. I have multiple sets now. Which is not a denial. Yeah, it can absolutely happen. I've had parts fail almost out of the box. I've had servo horns of all price points last long enough to drive out onto the course and hit something and just bent or stripped out. So yeah, we these. Oh, just making too much, making more work for myself than I had realized. The Panhard bar is now going to be way too long. I'm going to have to replace that as well. But we'll have a nice turning circle now. Vanquish F10T housings for only $289.99. It is not a mistake that we have one set of Vanquish alloy axles in here, and we didn't pay for them. They came on the truck. They came on the truck's a fortune. Otherwise, not gonna happen. Okay, let me get this lined up. Trying to figure out Panhard length. Yeah, that Panhard is. Let's see. It's not graphically too long. It's a little too long. Just too long enough. I wonder if I can just. We're gonna try to do this the laziest way that I can think of, which is I will try to get this axle centered, and I will try to get it to about ride height. And then I will try to find those calipers that I had about 5 minutes ago. And then we're gonna see how far off are we. We need about 103, 103, 104. Is that right? 103. And this is 103. All right, we'll bolt it on there and we'll see what it looks like. Because that would be crazy if that lined up. It shouldn't line up. It moved it over. Does that price for the F10 housings include the third member? Well, it sure didn't on the regular Vanquish houses, the portal housings that we have, the non-T, just the F10s. Yeah, F10T housings for $289 versus full housings. Yeah, and the axles, the fake HD44s that I put on Ghost Rover, you can find those under $100 now. They work pretty good. The diffs need shimmed, but they work pretty good. I'm gonna hold out, and I'm gonna wait for the price to drop on those, on the fake F10s. I'm gonna wait for it to drop a little bit more, or for them to disappear entirely, because I do have a habit of waiting too long. Yeah, the Vanquish wheels thing is crazy. Like that pricing model, they are definitely embracing a what the market will bear model. I'm having a one chassis made with Enduro IFS V2 front end and SCX 10.2 rear end for double clutch production. All right, I'm gonna have to check this out. I believe that I did see somewhat recently that old Exo Caged is doing his own inserts now, or putting his name on inserts, one or the t'other. That's a thing. That's a thing that happens, I guess. How do you use the steering link that comes in the Low Pro kit that you recommend for SCX 10? Oh, for axle. No, you're just gonna have to get another link. Yeah, I don't know if I run the kit. Okay, so I'm looking up, right up above where the camera is, right up here, It's Argenum the Phoenix, it's Baseline, and it's Zoidberg. Zoidberg is going to move to a more roomy location at some point because this guy is going to move in right next to Baseline. The rigs that get pulled down, and I'm really thinking about swapping Argentum out for Yella because those are the 3 test boys, so they're the rigs I need to get down the most often. So as I'm looking up there, Zoidberg, turnbuckles, Baseline turnbuckle, Argentum turnbuckle, this guy turnbuckle. I replace virtually every steering link that I can get away with a turnbuckle. Those are pretty parallel there. Ooh, there's our only problem. Bink, 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 bink. But, oh, and it's early. It's really early. I think what it would need. Yeah, I don't want to make these compromises. I don't want to go to a shorter horn, but we're gonna have to figure something, because look at that. That's perfectly parallel there. Perfectly parallel there. His front end geometry should be amazing. But the tie rod, well, it doesn't, no, it's worse. It's worse when I steer. Yeah. So the up travel here is to about there, and then the up travel to the other side is full squish. No contact of anything. Dang it. It's we're always giving something to get something else. My brother got a set of his inserts. So far he likes them. From what I know, he's printing them himself. Good for him. If only I had the gumption, and I do not. I have said what I assume is many times in the past, that my days of production are over. Yeah, that the panhard mount that I just bolted on there is 1550, which is unacceptable, but I needed it, and I bought it. Well, that's not true. I'm lazy. I could have made that part. I could have made that piece. I have the other piece in alloy and aluminum. I have this piece. I just didn't want to make that piece. So we'll suss this out. We'll figure that out later. So far as I know, from the the thumbnails that scroll across on my algorithm powered feed, it's bouncer inserts. So he's doing like bigger sizes. If he's doing other sizes, I'm not aware. Panhard looks very high on the axle mount. I mean, I have it all the way down here. I think there's no real way. I'm trying to think of the ways to remedy this as easily as possible without making things worse. If I were to flip the servo, instead of running the servo from the top bolted down, run the servo from the bottom bolted up, that would lower that down, but then I would have to lower the panhard mount down even more. But if I lower it down, maybe I can bolt it to the underside, and then it's one of those things. It's gonna be a while. It's gonna be some trial and error to get those sorted out the way I want them sorted out. I don't know why I put the fenders back on, aside from some small desire for cleanliness. Oh. If you are not live to the stream, you can just click the word live on the screen right of the time, and it shows how much you are behind. I'm going to use that the next time I'm watching a live stream, because I instinctively pause things, forgetting that it's, happening in real time. And I'm like, how am I so far behind? I know I've gotten distracted more than once, and it's going to happen more than a few more times, but I thought I would have been done with this like a half an hour ago. Then the other part of me is like, what are you rushing for? What's your hurry there, buddy? And I agree with that guy. What is my hurry? We're here. We're having a good time. Having a good time? Yeah, the steering link is really high compared. Another thing that I noticed, and I think this just clicked in my head. I just had a head click, and I'm gonna have to grab the element bin. I think I know what just might have happened. I think I know what happened. I think I know why our geometry's weird. Maybe other people don't know this, so maybe I'll be doing a service. Okay. So there, black and black. Okay. This is the servo mount that comes in an SE. It's like what's in there right there. See the shape? See it's parallel to the top and has the tabbies? Here is the servo mount from anything else, like an Ecto or anything. See how it's an H? I think that's what's giving the thing. The servo is just that amount higher. So I have to unbolt all of that. Yeah, there's the little hexy, the little X shape in there. I have to unbolt everything again. And then put this in. Put a hard one in. And then, like I said, I've been getting lazy, so like we've removed so many of these. Oh, don't put them all away. This one's never even been installed. That's the one that's going in. Yeah. Man, there's a lot of them in here. Okay, well, future. That's a problem for future me. Future me will see this panhard to be this servo mount, and it'll be sitting there and go, what is that about? Oh, right. You made an agreement with yourself that you would correct the problem that you made with your own hands. We're too lazy to put anything away, so the holding bin is getting bad. It's getting bad. Well, that's even further future me's problem. He can sort that out. Because this thing is a couple screws away from being together enough to... Hello, Jeep guy. We are together enough. Yeah, that would move it down just enough. Dang it! Well, what are you gonna do? The short answer to that is we're not taking it completely apart again. Rock Pirate says a nice pan turn run for $12. I probably actually have something here that could have worked, but I mean, they did get their geometry right. I mean, those are perfectly parallel. And I don't think there's any bump steer at all. It's perfectly straight up and down. I do feel it get a little stiffness right there. It's just panhard stuff. Yeah, no bump steer, no axle swing. I can't complain. It was supposed to come in the order of other stuff that I had ordered, and I opened up the box and nothing in there. Didn't even have the what is it? What's the wine $100 wine club card that comes in every A-Main box? And they've started throwing in some upgrade RC catalogs and stuff like that. None of that stuff was in there. Roared. So Oh, great. A car alarm. Somebody forgot to put a bunch of stuff in that box before it left the warehouse. What car over there even has an alarm? I don't think any of the neighbors' cars have an alarm in them. Yeah, I had every opportunity to make that part. And then I was like, you know what I can also do? I could just order it. Put it on there and then it's done. Even that took far longer than it should have. And it still has to be fixified. I still got to correct it. Oh, that does remind me. We're kind of here at the midway point. I've got some tires that are either bound for the skewers or bound for whoever's going to take them. These have been up near the top of the rack. They've been up there for a long time, so they should probably end up on the skewers. Boom Racing Max Grapplers, and they're not the tiny ones. I think these are the 455s. 445s. 445 Max Grapplers with foams. Whoever wants them. In this bag, already sealed well, not sealed, but already in the bag. Did we run them? I don't even know if we ran them. 155 Grabber ATs. These came off of Ruby. These are from the Trail Runner. So there's 4 of them in here. Anybody wants them? They're there. I haven't seen Shaker MT in the chat today. I'm assuming he's driving. So the Cross Cougars still mounted, still unvented on some of the most obnoxious plastic bead locks I've ever seen, where they actually use lock nuts on the back. So enjoy that. I don't think Shaker MT would have an issue with me giving these away. I will gladly contribute a set of Tutu Canyon Trails to that vehicle, as they were significantly better. So those are here in a box, the Cross Cougars, which honestly, if you're out, if you're trailing on something, I can see these probably being at least modestly okay. I don't have the wherewithal to deal with them. Random others. I don't remember whose plastic beadlocks these are. Are these axials or these elements? I don't know. I found them while sorting through a bin. So those set of plastic beadlocks. We've got plastic wheels falling out of the rafters around here. Maybe people don't hate it as much as me. 2 ABS G4P with a receiver. And then for whatever reason, I have a G4P. I have an XP130 with a receiver. And then for whatever reason, I have a G4P without a receiver. I will dig around in the bins and see if I can find the receiver for this thing. But I have no idea where that receiver is. I know that I'm not a fan of these radios, and that's a personal preference thing. I'm not putting it on anybody else. The only item that will be placed before you that I wouldn't mind something in exchange, say they would call it a trade. Trenchers. These are Predator. I'm pretty sure these are these Predator? What did I test? Go back to the tire, go back to the review where I did trenchers and see what compound it says they are. They have 1 run on them. If you want an insert for them, let me know. If you want to trade some tires for them or something, just let me know. I'm not going to run them. I have another couple sets. I think I have Hyrax, but those are G8. And the Hyrax need to go through a little bit more testing. But these are ready Those are ready to go. If you don't want inserts for these, that would be even better. But if you do want inserts, you're just getting foams. And I've got, I don't know. I don't have too many foams. Get out of my way. So these are the foams that won't fit anywhere else. Some fell out of the bag. So if you get foams, you're getting foams out of that bag. They're probably not going to be good foams. And I need stuff moved out of the way. If anybody doesn't take any of the stuff, I got to get it out of here. I'm running out of room. I would like the XP130. What do you need for it in the receiver? If you could cover like cost of shipping, particularly if you're not someplace domestically nearby. Techno, if you'd like the trenchers, just offer up something of a small value in exchange. We need most all the things, for rig building. So whatever you've got, if you're not using it, this is the idea behind the circle of crawling. If you have it and you don't need it, tell me what you're looking for. And if I have it and I don't need it, maybe we can make those items meet in the middle. I tend to not ask for money for this kind of stuff, other than like if you just want the XP130, if you can cover the shipping, which is usually like around $8, that would be great. Because in a typical month, it's not uncommon for me to blow through $150 to $200 in shipping, especially since I got the ID PRT over here, the thermal label printer, which has made things a lot easier. I don't know if I think I've seen one or two names in the chat. I sent out 2 sets of tires this week. I don't know if they would have arrived yet. I shipped them on Monday. One on Monday and one on Tuesday, but both of those sets went out. So if you've gotten those, cool. Servos are something that we need more than any other thing. Like I currently have more power plants unused than I do servos. So when servos come in, servos get used. I think in the servo bin right now, there's probably 5 servos that aren't employed, and they pretty much all have future employment. So servos is servos. Things like XL5HV 21 turn. I got. I have 2 or 3 XL5s. If you want to know what the brushed motor situation looks like, there's this one, which is where like sealed cans go. And then where's the new one? Yeah. Then here's the new bin. It's really heavy. It's really heavy. We're filling up a little bit on the brushed motors. I keep telling myself I got to build more brushed rigs. It's just become so easy and convenient to put fusions in things that we got half a dozen 1080s as well. I bought a servo and axle mount for my Ascent and used the panhard as a passenger side upper link to fit under the motor. I used the angled rod end from the steering wheel. Yeah. How about cut 1.9 Canyon trails unglued? There's a part of me, there's a strong part of me that is like, take that deal. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 7 sets of 1.9 Canyon trails on the rack right now, not including the ones that are mounted on vehicles. I have a problem. I also have 5 sets of Deepwoods. Man, when I find a tire I like, I'll really start buying those things. So yeah, I mean, it can be something simple, like I would gladly trade those for like a set of Amazon beadlocks because the orange set pretty much has to be retired. They are pretty much worn out, like pretty blown out, where screws keep falling out of them. I went to Harbor Freight yesterday and I bought a magnet sweeper because there's so many screws on the ground. Okay. All right. Okay. So he wants those. Okay. So those I can't see chat right now because I can only see email. Those are gone. Okay. There's that. Okay. All right. There's that one. I'll wait for another email before I try to figure anything out. Are you still collecting reedy crap? If you've already sent some, then yeah, it's fine. But I think I've probably I've probably caught up to enough. Let's see what the bin currently looks like. The bin is the bin is almost full. I mean, can you imagine the whole? Oh no! So many reedy crawlers. Yeah, I think we have like 13 or 14 motors, and I think it's like 11 speed controls. It will be plenty. It will be plenty. But if there's more, there's more. That is a future video. 100% is the SC400 versus the 480 versus the 500. I want to see. I mean, are they even different? Because I can definitely tell the difference between a 1040 and a 1060 and a 1080. So I want to see if the same thing is true with the reedies. If no one takes the Proline tires, I'll do wheels for first. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, okay, that's the thing. Most of the beadlock hardware is not stainless. It is zinc-plated pot metal, basically. I have one of these little bar magnets, right? So we do a lot of scale hardware around here. So like 2mm, we only have a couple that we're not using. And if you submerge this into one of these, like it's not, they're not stainless, man. None of this is stainless. Out of a whole package, if I were to pull all of these screws out of there might be 4 or 5 of them that don't stick to the magnet. But yeah, and then I mean, you know, even except for the highest grade stainless, even stainless is a little bit magnetic, and it is really rewarding. I did not know how rewarding the wheeled magnet sweeper would be, because you're just cruising along and it goes tong, ting, ping, ting. Oh, it's just good. I found so many rusted nails and screws, and I bought that thing primarily just to try to save the tires on my lawnmower. I wonder if 2 reedy motors on a 3-gear chance they could actually have decent drag brake. I still want to try using 2 gearboxes with 2 motors. I've got that 880, 2 gearboxes with 2 motors. I mean, it's double the torque, right? You have an email regarding the XP130. Excellent. Do you ever go to the events like Axial Fest and Beat the Creek that's coming up to this thing interest you? The only one that we have locally is Proline by the Fire, which is up at Horseman's in Desperia, right? Apple Valley, Desperia area. Maybe I will... Can you make a magnet sweeper out of reedy motors? You haven't... Okay, I'm genuinely thinking about at least going and seeing Proline by the Fire just one day, just to say that I've been. And it's about an hour's drive away. I had a tailor-made excuse last year because there was a dang old blizzard that week last year, and they got like, that was where up in Big Bear where the ski resorts are, they got like 7 feet of snow. They were completely buried. So a bunch of the roads were closed. The traffic was ridiculous. So I just said, hey, well, I don't have to go to that now. And maybe I'm not, no promises, but maybe I will go this year. But all of the other ones, like the Axial Fest and all those are like in the like Midwest and back east. Someone asked me in a comment on a video maybe about a year ago if I was going to like the Scale and Trail Nationals or something, which is in like Florida. And I said, I think you might have me confused with someone else because I'm definitely not going to Florida. That is too far. I have to will myself into driving to Apple Valley, an hour away, to go to Proline by the Fire. Florida is far. It's really far. Almost as far as you can get. Checking the mails again. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So this is spoken for, and this is going swimmingly. So I've put the one aside for the one guy, and then I've put the, so we have people in debate over the trenchers. We'll see where those end up. I realize that the versatility of a Fly Sky radio without a receiver is fairly low. I feel like I keep shooting Technolem down, and I don't want to feel like that, but my God, I hate those RC four-wheel drive stamped Steelies. I have one set, and I put them on the FCX-10 because the FCX-10 is a giveaway truck that will be going probably in the month of May. We'll be giving that away in the month of May, and that means that I won't have to have them anymore. I never want to have to put them together again. Where are you located? I am in Southern California. Okeechobee is where it is. Okeechobee! Yeah, that's far. Mr. Diesel needs tires. Yeah, I may indeed have something. We have a whole box, the skewer box. If the Max Grapplers don't get spoken for, they'll go in with the same, I have the smaller Max Grapplers that are going on the skewers. Yes, RCTNT shared that FlySky is releasing the receiver for the FCX-10, that you're not locked into 2-in-1. Yeah, I talked to a guy at the little RC Expo that was down in Pomona that said the exact same thing. That sometime this year, it was a TBA, TBD, when that'll be coming out. The trenchers are the regular Class 2 475s. You would go to the Proline by the Fire while you don't like Proline's business practices? Well, I mean, I can use that as the reason why I've never gone before. I don't. But everybody says that it's, they say it's not a Proline thing. I don't know. All you'll do is give me another reason to talk myself out of going to it. Then I won't have to go to it. Like, I want to say next weekend is Crawlers and Coffee up at Horseman's, up at the same place, and I don't have any desire to go to that either. So, nothing against Crawlers and Coffee. Escondido. Yeah, you're right down the road. Can you get a replacement receiver for the FlySky? Yeah, I think it'll use any FlySky receiver. Either the GT. Oh, that's not true. That's not true. I might have spoke too soon. Because I know that the GT3 and the GT5 are on different protocols. I'm trying to see if the other one says what the protocol is on it. I don't see it. How about I just, okay. Chat is going to disappear again for a second. No, I'm like, let's hold that right in front of the camera. Yeah, I can't say. Okay, so you can get an FSBS4 receiver for about $22, $23, it looks like, up to 25, 26. But I don't know if it's the same protocol. I don't know enough about FlySky's receiver protocols to claim which receiver works. If someone knows, then they can tell you for sure. I don't know. I know you can buy FlySky receivers everywhere. I just don't know what is the a la carte equivalent of the FS R4DBS. Because this one has the little light things on the side. I think that's what the little ports on this side are for. I think you could just use any 3 or 4 channel receiver, but I do know that there are 2 different protocols for FlySky receivers, and I don't know which one the G4P uses. I just know that I don't like the G4P at all. It's got a trigger's not bad. Wheel's terrible. It doesn't want to stay without double A's in it. It's very tippy. Oh God. I have an Orlando Hunter OH32X kit, which is a 132nd scale crawler, and I hear they're maddening. Oh, there's no way. There's no way. I was using all of the colorful words working on a Losi Mini T, and that's nowhere near 132nd scale. I could obscure a 132nd scale car in between my hands, I think. Please don't make me work on that. There's a reason that we do 10th scale around here. They're big enough. Yeah, so I don't. Okay, I will ask one last time. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it scrolled by. Did anyone say anything about the Max Grapplers? Because if they didn't, they can go in the box with the other Max Grapplers that are all going on the skewers. I have about 20 tires bound for the skewers. This would take it to about 24 tires bound for the skewers. So I will get those, and potentially these as well. And then, I mean, I guess I can offer up these bead locks if I have to go through the problem of taking them apart. The G4P uses protocol ANT. ANT. Oh, so someone did. Okay, then I will set them over here. Then I will set them over here so that they don't end up on the skewers. The Max Grapplers are 4.45. I think that's what they say on the sidewall. Yeah, call them 4.5. They're basically 4.5. I know they make the Max Grappler in a bunch of different sizes. That's just one of them. I don't think I have any BFGs in here at all right now. Most of the BFGs have passed through here on a review basis, like they've shown up to be reviewed, and then I send them back to the person that sent them reviewed. I said I'd take the grapplers and trenchers for wheels if you want. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's absolutely great, because the others were giveaway. And ooh. Do you think I can fit this Max Grappler inside this trencher? You know, for shipping. These are Predator trenchers, so they should be pretty loose. ANT is the same as the G7P protocol. The FS R4P is an awesome option if you only need the 4 channels and don't want to whip antenna. Yeah, easily. So we double down. It's a tar inside a tar. It's tarception. So gears easily, yeah, set of wheels. If I'm allowed to specify, I need a set of plus what are they? The 10 millimeter offset Injoras 1.9s, any color that isn't bronze. I don't care what style. Have you ever been to Lake Hodges? That was Weekly Dumb 1. Was tire inside a tire. I put the JD model Trepidors inside of another tire. Actually, it worked all right. I emailed, just tell me what color and fake methods, right? Okay, let me I'm gonna put a link to the wheel that I'm looking for. This is a tiny little window. They usually show up in like the first couple, but a lot of the Injoras do go out of stock on Amazon for like extended periods of time for whatever reason. Those are coming directly, definitely from Injora. There they are. Maybe they have them in different colors. So they're the 9.4s. Yeah, but probably be easier to just order them from Amazon. I mean, from Injora themselves. Of course, the wheels that I want are not available. Oh, there we go. Yeah, deep 105s. There you go. I think I have one set of these already, but I need another one now. Oh, did they have all black? Oh, they do. Are they on Prime? No, they're not. Black and silver? There. Orange and black? Ugh. Red and black. Blah. Okay. Let's do that. Copy. So I said I was looking for. It's always 105s. Oh my God. I forgot about the Enduro 12. The Enduro 12 is in a box. You know what would be great? I should probably get that thing out of the box and just drive it again to see if my emotions have changed at all. Oh, you know what I need? Might have to go look for some. I have a Radiolink RC6 GS V3. I want to start using a lipo. What do I need to change in this? You just plug it in. The RC4 and RC6 can handle up to 3S. I just haven't found a 3S that will fit, so I just run 2S in all of them. But yeah, you just plug it in. They don't. It's apparently that's a remnant of back in the olden times that you had to change the voltage for it. Now they just don't care. You forgot about the Enduro 12. Was it so mad? Yeah, the Enduro 12 made me to an extent physically angry because they had such an opportunity to make something like nice, and instead they rebadged a Thunder Tiger and put a different body on it and trotted it out. A Thunder Tiger that was not highly reviewed and had been out for several years. And then they were just like, yeah, this seems fine. It's fine. And then they trotted it out. It's not a value. I don't see it as a value. And now the more I'm glad I had blocked it out, because now that I'm thinking about the Enduro 12, it's making me angry again. Just what a missed opportunity they had. I'm trying to ruptures on the Enduro 12. I mean, I don't want to break. It's not mine, so I don't want to break another person's thing just being irresponsible. But I mean, yeah, I would love to see like Panther Cougars on a 12 scale Enduro 12. We've got I might as well do it now. So, Jesse Yang, shout out to Jesse Yang over at Radio Link. Jesse Yang emailed me a couple days ago and said that there's not a version 2, but an updated version of the Cool 9030. It's black. It's black now. Apparently, the white cases that are present... Why don't I just get a Cool 9030 out of the drawer? Apparently, the white case that was on the old Cool 9030, apparently these are 3D printed. That's why they're white. So this is the new, quote-unquote, new Cool 9030, which also has a more powerful BEC in it. It'll do 7.5 volts and it's 5 amp. And it's a 90 amp speed control. And it's brushed that runs 4S. So who's mad about that? So she sent me one of those out. This particular gent right here is going to go into the Emo X2, into the monster dog. And we're going to see how that works. I'm going to throw a 4S pack in there. And we're going to try the Emo X2 on 4S. And I'm going to try to gear it down as much as humanly possible for 4S use. Because it's a little brisk on 3S. I want to gear it to the floor. And then maybe first gear will be crawlable. Speaking of those, have you heard any more from Injora regarding the ESC you reviewed? They said that the programming card is going to be available soon, was all I got from the guy at Injora. And he also, at the same time, did not mention when the ESC will actually be out. I don't know. Not a lot of information coming out of there. But because Jesse Yang, shout out Jesse Yang, because Jesse Yang is cool, she sent 2. So if you want one, I'm gonna give one away. And I was trying to figure out how to do it. We know that we can't choose a number because apparently I'm a predictable human being because I said 37 and the guy was immediately like 37 because apparently human beings, if given a number between 0 and 100, they'll just guess 37 a lot. So it can't be choose a number. I don't know. We will figure out. When we gave the charger away, when we gave the dual port charger away, when BattleBot guy got the charger, chat basically chose who was going to get it. So if chat has any idea of who should get the new Cool 9030, just let me know. And we paired with a reading motor. Oh, I mean, this is one of the strengths of the Cool 9030 being able to handle 4S, is that you can put a Reedy Crawler 16 turn on it and see what on 4S. Let's see what happens. 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Oh, and yeah, we've got what did I walked over there to pick something up, and then had a complete mental evacuation. Completely forgot why I walked over there. I'm gonna ponder on it. I'm gonna ponder on it for a minute. D, all of the above. Well, I have crap. HVOTO3 says I have crap electronics on my rigs, but I want to stay with the crap until I can upgrade all of my rigs at the same time. No, you just upgrade as you go, man, and then. This allows you more upgrade progression because if rig 1 has a 1080, then you buy rig 1 a Fusion SE, and then you put that 1080 into the next one. And then you decide, well, maybe I want to try a Fusion Pro, or I want to try an Outrunner setup. Then you put that one in your favorite rig, and then you move the SE into another rig, and then that's how it works. Sequential progression, not upgrade everything all at once. That's no fun in that. Otherwise, if I upgraded everything all at once, everything would have a Fusion SE in it. You wouldn't get to sample all the wild varieties of things. Like, we would all just run this. Everything would have a 60 kg flash hobby in it. Statistically, 37 is the most chosen random number, 0 to 100. Yeah. That's how when I said I'm thinking of a number between 0 and 100, he went like that, and he went 37. I don't know. Is it a good idea to have one rig with a fusion and the other two with sealed cans and 1040s? Yee! Well, I mean, it could definitely give you an appreciation of those 1040s. Especially if it's a Fusion Pro. Yes. You should quick review the Cross RC tow truck. Well, the Emo X2 is the tow truck, just with a different body. They're the exact same vehicle. I think there's a different tire on the tow truck, another 52522, but if it falls in line with the other, we tested the Velociraptor and the Cougar from Cross, and they're both bad. They're both bad. And yeah, and as HVOTO3 pointed, when he said crap electronics, he was joking. When he pointed out, yeah, sealed cans are the worst, but because brushed is near the end of its life, our selection it's not getting better. It's getting much worse. And I did that video where I went through and tested 10 different very economical brushed motors, and they're all just not very good. I wanted one of them in there that isn't a big block, that isn't a Surpass 5 slot with the neodymium magnets that cost $50. I wanted a non-$50 brushed option, but it's really not there. It's not there. It's a shame. I mean, if anything, they should be getting more affordable, but they're not. So, I am aware. Someone just mentioned that when he brought up the Enduro 12, which has been in a box here for a couple months. There are a number of rigs here that are incomplete. There are I don't think anyone could categorize it any other way than to say that I have a number of incomplete. It came from the Workbench series that are getting excessive. Where's the needle? So at some point, I need to start finishing these things, and most of them are when they get to paint. So I feel like moving forward, I think I need to issue the caveat to people that if you don't care that the rig isn't painted, we can build you something in here and put the Canyon touches on it. And as long as it doesn't have to be painted, we can finish it in a relatively timely fashion. On the other side of the wall are a Bronco and a Bugger that both need to be painted. And then another Bug that needs to be painted. And I have a Creep Cab that needs to be painted. And I have like 5 other bodies, 6 or 7 or 8. I think the total number of unpainted bodies in here is like 13. Paint is the problem here because I don't like it. Is a rig ever really complete? No, I don't think they're ever done. Are you over or under on all RTRs coming with a brushless setup? If you're talking about 100%, I don't think we'll ever achieve 100%. I think manufacturers are still going to trot out some variant of the Hobbywing 1040 with a sealed can 35 turn motor in it. Still, in the year in 2030, they'll still be happening. How do you like the bug body on the VRD? The bug body is great. The paint job I put on it is terrible. Terrible. I've got to figure something out. Yeah. Oh, well, okay. My Holmes Hobbies Trailmaster Sport 27 turn brush motor has taken a beating and still runs great for $15 over 2 years of my trail rig. Yeah. The Trailmaster Sport is a fantastic motor until you compare it to anything else. I mean, it's in its name, so we can't take that away from it. Trailmaster Sport. I would put the Trailmaster Sport about this much better than a Titan that comes stock in every TRX4. It's about how it goes. Sealed can 540s and 550s are only going to be so good. And if you're beating it up and driving it through a creek, it might be the perfect choice. But when you try to take that Trailmaster or the Crawlmaster, Torquemaster's pretty good. You take any of those sealed can motors and you try to do like genuine rock crawling with them, it is not a rewarding experience. To those out here enjoying sealed cans, that is great. I wish that I could. I genuinely do. Because I am constantly looking for a $20 motor that doesn't make me sad. But so far, I haven't found it. Is there a spreadsheet about your servo tests available? I have a... I got to take care of this one myself. I can't expect... There's already a guy doing the tires. I do have a spreadsheet with the servo test results, and I had to search for it on my computer. It has not been updated since November of 2023. So I don't even know how many servos aren't on it. I want to say it only has about 16 or 18 servos on it, and I know that we're past that. So I will update it. I will set some time aside. If the weather keeps being poop, maybe I'll just be sitting in the house and I can update that. The worst part of it is that I have to... Well, I do have my sheets. I have my sheets. I can go by my sheets. I don't enjoy sealed cans. I don't feel like I have to throw them out, but they're not good. Yeah. Hey, if I have 90mm shocks, do I go with 90mm Desert Lizards or 100 if the regular limit travel? It depends. You can go to hundreds, but you need to have a top hole that is 10mm or a minimum of 5mm higher than the current hole. If you have something like a stock shock tower that's on an SCX-10 or an Element or anything like that, where you don't have any vertical positioning, then you can't just put longer shocks on. It's going to mess up all your geometry front and rear. If you're servo and axle, it won't be as bad, but if you're chassis mounted servo and you have a panhard and things like that, 100mm are going to mess it up. So it's if you're not ready to do all the work and change a bunch of links, or at least the lengths of the links, replace 90s with 90s. Replace like for like. I'm supposed to be getting sponsored by Furatech on a build. They cut me a deal and took my money. It's going on 2 months, no Python X system. May have to go with another Rhino 80 amp. But what motor? I am almost, it depends. If your rig is going to be a lightweight, I'd get an S12. If it's going to be heavier than about 5.5 pounds, I'd go with an S20. The S20 is the best. The S20 is the best one on the market, in my opinion, right now, the S20 from Rhino, because it comes in a variety of KVs. It's small. It has as close to an electronic anchor as you can get. It doesn't have the can howl of like the Globacts and the 9i mods and stuff like that. It has a smaller form factor. It's a good looking motor. S12s and S20s. And they're like $60, and I've come to peace with it. For a long time, I was still buying the $30 ones because they're cheaper and then not enjoying them as much. Watching this while I'm on the Peloton today. Look at that. I'm here while people will be exercising. I could put the servo tests on the tire sheet, but I don't think it's really worth it. There's not a lot of servos, and the good ones are just 3 or 4. Yeah, that's true. In terms of servos, my purchase recommendations are so small, it has to fit a VRD stubby setup. They'll both fit. Oh, I can show you right here. We'll see how, I don't have any auto mute, so this might be loud. Oh, that's really loud. So this is a stubby with an S20 in it. Can't even really see it. There is about, I would say, 6 millimeters behind the can. And this is the S20, which is the bigger one. So the S12 would be even shorter. But yeah, S20 will fit in there no problem in a stubby kit with plenty of room left over. I know that some of those 3542s won't fit, and I know some of the 3532s can get tight. So yeah, if it's going in a stubby, the S20 will fit easily. Oh, hello, Mr. Cross. It's a shit, man. Guys got to work. It's the worst. Have you used an Injora nylon Capra cage on any build? No, I have not. I think I know which one you're referring to, but no, I have not. Do you have a preference in size for the Dravtech fake Dravtech? Yes, it is these. Which, let me measure the free length on them. Yeah. Okay. It is because, maybe because they can't do math. If you get the ones that you think are going to be right. Yeah. So these are the ones that are sold as 105s. They are exactly 95 eye to eye. So what are they doing? What are they doing? On these, the shock shaft is the right length for the body. You can get full compression. On the next step down, on the ones that they call 95s, which are actually 85s, the shaft is too long for the body. I haven't even popped one of these open yet to see what kind of piston we got. Yeah, 7s. I don't think it's going to focus on that. Focus? It's too dark to see it anyway. Yeah, it's got the 7s. But I bought a bunch of the Traxxas 10mm pistons. Maybe you could just do a top 10 list of a few of the different servo options. Okay. I mean, because that's the thing. As I look across the fleet, you've got the 60 kg direct power flash hobby. So many that I can't count. Probably a dozen of those. And then there's the 50 direct power, the 50 receiver powered, and the 58 receiver powered. I have all of them. The RS500B was fantastic when it was $50, and now it's $65. And honestly, I think it's getting beaten at $65. Are they're the ones I've ordered 105? Okay, yeah, yes, you did indeed do it correctly. If you have a bit more money and you want something real smooth, the SA75 from AGFRC is fantastic. In terms of receiver power, I mean, the Amazon Blue case is always a solid fallback because it delivers on the numbers. It's a little bit slow, but it is so very inexpensive. Have I successfully silenced the L-Dark CT01? No, it beeps and boops and makes all the noises, and I've just learned to. Yes, I have silenced it mentally. I no longer notice all the sounds that come out of it. So I'm trying to think, like when I'm shopping for a servo to put in a build. So there is as I look through here, there are so many. It's either AGFRC, it's Flash Hobby, or it's Amazon cheap stuff. I keep reaching out and trying to find something else. Oh, well, I mean, there's reefs in here, but I still haven't bought any reef servos. All right. If you want to think about the sum table for servos with the doing, give me the numbers and I'll do a top 10 table. Okay. Yeah. I will find the spreadsheet and I will accompany it with. Luckily, I hoard. So a bunch of the servos. I haven't thrown the servo test sheets away. So I still have all the servo AGFRC, SA75, A73, A86. Oh, I almost forgot about the Flash Hobby CLS 4050 RP. That one did well. Yeah, that guy did like 700 ounces on 8.4. That is not bad at all. Yeah, the Endura 25, the Tactics, Savox, the Reef 444, and the the 3225 Pro, which made 700, almost 700 ounces average, which puts it ahead in torque of the almost triple the economic value of an RS 700. You really have to buy a half-height servo because you need it. Do it on paper and send me a photo. look, I'm not that much of a, give myself a groove. I'm not that much of a Luddite. I can type things some out. What is your favorite carbon fiber chassis? I would have to say the bundle of consonants, the same one that's in the non-Ascent parts list, because it is cheap and it was very easy to set up. Like, I converted him over to that chassis during the episode. It was such an absolute drop-in to all the parts that were there. He just fell together. And Yella is eminently capable to the point where he is now one of the test rigs. And that is my most viewed video of all time, is the cheap Amazon carbon fiber chassis. At the time when it was like one of the only cheap Amazon carbon fiber chassis, and now Amazon is absolutely flooded with cheap chassis, and I've only had the opportunity to test a couple of them. Do you happen to know the part number for the Traxxas 10mm pistons? I used to. I can get it real quick though. I can't talk and type at the same time, unfortunately. My brain is far too smooth for that. It is called the Traxxas Piston Headset TRA 2669. I also have to add a price performance thing for the tires. Miata Commuter said it and I like the idea. I was staring at the tire review list and trying to figure out how to make that work, right? Like, we know that of the top group, like let's say the top 15 tires, of the top 15 tires, this guy right here, nobody's coming close to this guy, to the pin, because he scored 95.7, and they're like $27 a set. That's, nobody's coming close. I mean, well, now that Panther Cougars are discontinued, at $32 for a 99, nobody's ever touching the Panther Cougar. But because the top 15 are so close in score, like, even if you take something that didn't do remarkably well and got, say, something around a 90, if it's priced the same as the others, the differential between the two in like, if we did some sort of aggregate scoring, or if we like divided the score by the cost, something like that, they're all going to come out so close that it's going to make it look not, it's going to minimize the difference between a 97 and a 94. Or, because I was looking at whatever tire got an 88. I want to say it's like the tires that came on the Ascent got like an 88. But Red Cat sells them for like $15. So all of a sudden they look really good because they're only $30 a set. But they're not good. I mean, they score below a 90, so they're basically kind of terrible. And then J Concepts jumps out and muddies that up even further. Like, if we do cost, just a pure cost to performance thing, all of the the Cross Black Rocket, like, what, $65 a set, something like that, and we're terrible. All of the Proline tires are going to be way over here, because all of the J Concepts tires are going to be here, because their pricing model is a lot more. It's basically on average, what, $8 a set different, $8 to $10 a set different, cheaper for J Concepts versus Proline. That alone that's huge. $10 a set. That could be 15% of the cost, 15% cheaper, and scoring another. Black Rocks are $100 a set. That is. So, $100. So, the cross Black Rock. No. These are the Max Grapplers. I think the Black Rocks might be on the skewers already, unless I gave them away. I hope I gave them away. I would feel bad. Well, no, I wouldn't. They were so bad. Watched West Desert Wheeler yesterday, and he put a Kraken chassis on his VRD. Apart from the carbon weight savings, well, VRD is already carbon. Is the price for this worth the benefits? Replace one LCG chassis with another? Only if somebody's given it to you for free. There's absolutely no reason to do that. Unless that chassis is okay. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. I'm just gonna link this again because someone asked. Okay. That is the link to the whole wish list on Amazon to build the non-Ascent. The first item in the link is Yella's chassis. The only reason to change a chassis for another chassis is if it changes the geometry. Or if you're changing material. Like if you bought a stance, you can get a Zoku carbon option, and it will save a little bit of weight, but it's not going to change the geometry. He designed it to be a drop-in. Just like the DSM that DSM did for Ascent. It was a drop-in. It didn't change the geometry. If you're putting in some kind of chassis that changes the geometry, then that's a reason to change the chassis. But if the Kraken is just a bolt-in into the VRD, then there's absolutely no point in doing it. Other than to be like, oh, I have a Kraken VRD now. It's the same thing. When I build up custom chassis, I do them primarily because I'm cheap. Also, because I want to change geometry. I want to move the skid forward. I want to put a wider middle to fit a particular gearbox. I want to convert a vehicle that was originally chassis-mounted steering to servo and axle, or vice versa. There's a reason to build the chassis, and there's a reason that rigs like Zoidberg are on their 5th chassis and should probably be on his 6th chassis because, as was said just a few moments ago, they're never done. They're never done. It's raining, by the way. I didn't put my chop saw away. It's in the rain. Yeah, temperature, humidity, all that stuff. I like that he did put a column on the tire spreadsheet that says if it was wet out or moist out, because it can impact, and I do adjust the scores accordingly. It's like when the guy shows up to the Top Gear test track to do the start in a reasonably priced car, and it's absolutely bucketing down rain. Well, that guy's not going to put up the top time, is he? But the Boggers ran on a day which was proper wet, and the Boggers did amazing. The thing about the Boggers is I've since driven them in the dry. They don't get better when it's dry. Like, they're still, like, they don't get worse when it's wet, but they also don't get stratospherically better when it's dry. They're just kind of a good all around. I mean, it's a Bogger. When will we see the 1/18th Capra bug build again? It needs paint, and it needs a ghost ride. But, I mean, I guess I could. I don't have to worry about marring the body up too much. It's the paint. It always comes down to paint. He needs his ESC taped down, and he needs to go out for his test drive. There's starting to be spider webs on him. He needs to go out. The original Bronco build, the same body that's on Lord Pentaby, first of his name, is on the FRD build where I copied the VRD chassis out of aluminum. That is mostly done. He's mostly done. I still have a rig here from Pennsylvania that needs going through. That is mostly done. The VRD with the bug on it is mostly done. We get to a certain point here where everything is mostly done. And then, I don't know, we just start doing something else. Easily distracted by nature. Thoughts on the brazen forward skid chassis? I have never tried it. I do like forward skid. I like skid forward. It is kind of annoying. It's annoying to get set up because the geometry kind of acts weird. The lists are going to be like rigs. They'll never end. Yes. What battery pack and charger do I need for my radio link? I'm sick of charging AA's. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Okay, let's see who's got what. So you have effectively, perfect pick on the first one. I've got the second one. I need to grab a third one. You have 3 basic options for batteries in your RC4 and RC6. The cheapest option is you get yourself some cell holders that hold 18650s, and you solder a JST plug to it, and then you can just charge them in any. I use that. It's an Opus 18650 charger, and then you can have extra 18650s around, and when 2 go dead, there's always 2 in the charger. You throw 2 more in, and bish bosh, you're done. 18650s can be had really, really cheap depending on what quality of cell you're going with and where you buy them from. Your second option are these ones that actually say RC4GS on them. They're 2,800 packs. They're available on Amazon. They're usually about $20. When they're in stock, sometimes they disappear out of stock just for no reason, and they're gone for a couple months. I have a large number of those. These would be the batteries I have the most. These would be the ones that I have second most. And the one that I have third most, because we're only using 3 difference, is the one that I would recommend. If you have one radio, if you're using one radio and you don't have a radio for every vehicle, just get the Genzace 3800s. They fit perfectly inside the battery tray. Drops right in. And these will go for so long, it's still at 8.4. Oh, there we go, 8.3. I have forgotten Baseline's radio on for 2 days. It sat out here. It was up with a spray paint. I walk in the door, and it will set the radio down and then just forget that it's there. It sat there for 2 full days, and the battery only got down to 7.8 volts. That's a big battery. So, the 3800s usually go for about $25. Buy once, cry once, as they say. $25 is not exactly bad, but these are definitely the cheapest. I think my buddy is a vapor. He vapes. When we buy these are branded. I know they're branded. I think they're Sanyos. They're like $3 a cell. So he buys like 20 at a time. And I know I've missed some questions here. The Kraken for the VRD, from what they say, moves the skid forward 3/8 of an inch, and shock tower is 1/2 inch than stock, and more shock adjustments. I mean, that's something. Oh, look, elbow. Because this is a 20... The old camera used to be literally right here where my hand is. Because this is a 22 millimeter, it's way back here. It's way back here. I haven't quite figured out the placement on it yet, but we'll figure it out. So if it moves the skid forward 3/8 of an inch, does the Kraken come with all new links? Because it's going to have to come with all new links. Otherwise, the geometry is going to get super weird. Also, 3/8 of an inch forward. Okay, we've got 2 guys that we can show it with. So here's a VRD. We've got a rear link at about 140, approximately 140. And we've got a front link at about 120. That's not atypical. Oh, I got a calculator right here. So that's 85%. So the front link is 85% of the rear link. Direct bolt on, then it ain't. Yeah. This Lolo who was out on the bench a moment ago, Lolo is skid forward. Do we see a difference? Lolo's rear links are 180 millimeters long, and his front links are 90 millimeters long. So they are half the length. The fronts on this are 85% the length of the rears. The fronts on this are 50% the lengths of the rears. That's skid forward. Moving it forward 10 millimeters is not skid forward. It might help your breakover this much. But, I'm not going to say anything overtly negative about it because I've never driven it, I've never seen it, I've never tested it. But it does seem a little bit hanky. I don't know. I've moved skids forward 10 millimeters and not noticed any real substantial difference. Where is he? Where's he at? Wiley! Okay. When Wiley arrived, Wiley is a coyote. That's how he got his name. And he's also a beautiful Toyota Stout. A beautiful purple Toyota Stout. What a good looking body. Am I right or am I right? I'm right. When Wiley showed up, you will notice he's got a longer rear link and a shorter front link. Why do I keep turning this ruler over? We're looking at about 125 for the rear, and we're looking at about 105 for the front. That's right in about that 85%, right? When he showed up, and it's still this way, when he showed up, it was backwards. He was this. This is how mirrored the Charisma Coyote is. Because this is his back axle, and this is his front axle. So he handled like the hottest of garbage. So I literally turned the gearbox around and mounted the front axle on the rear and the rear axle on the front. Because if you're familiar with a 10-2 gearbox chassis rail, see how there's the hoop? And then here it's straight. So he runs a backwards chassis because I didn't want to have to undo all the links, flip the skid around, do all that. So he basically drives backwards all the time. But because nothing hits, it doesn't matter. His handling was absolutely terrible when he came out of the box. And it's a lot better now. He still got fired. He's still a little sore about getting fired from his tire testing job, but he's also way too light to be a Class 1 tire test guy. He's like barely 5 pounds with these Hot Storm tank wheels on there that are so heavy. He's just too light of a boy to be a Class 1 tire tester. That's why Lord Pentaby got built. Yes, forklift certified. Absolutely better suited to driving backwards than forwards. And speaking of, I brought his radio too for no reason. Oh, this is a radio that I dropped it good. I dropped it real good. And broke the antenna off, so I just stuffed the remainder of the antenna down inside the body. Still works. So, in the vein of incomplete projects, what I have been doing is I've been accumulating. So you saw the Amazon blue case. Make sure that's it. Okay. Pardon me, radio link. Okay. Amazon blue case. That's there. Okay. We've got cut-to-length drive shafts. That's a necessary thing. We've got... I realize this is a box, and the box doesn't really tell you anything, unless you've ordered Mias before, in which case you know what's in here. So inside here, oft hidden on Amazon, sometimes findable. There's our good buddies, Mias nylons. Okay, you might see a trend going here. So Mias nylons, cut-to-length drive shafts. the Who Crawler, which is the, I can't remember. Somebody already said what it's a clone of. It's a knockoff of somebody, a deluxe, something like that, with the skid. All right. So we've got that. Who Crawler's doing it. They're all over AliExpress as well. So you got that guy. Then we've got, here are plastics. Those are VS410 plastics. These are VS410 rails. And, oh yeah, you already saw them. I've had them wheeled out a couple times. I have to rebuild these because they need like proper seals on it. There's the shocks. There's the links. We're going with, they finally got them back in stock. 78 Chevy K10 tucked. Goes like that. And then I had an idea. The genesis of this project was why I was asking for all of the, for the stuff, for all of the Reedy poo-poo caca. Because I wanted to build a rig that I could have people drive. Miata Commuter, I'm trying to talk a guy into letting me do a build for him based on that Who Crawler chassis. Because he wants to do a truggy and try to find me a chassis that wasn't built more truggy than that thing. It's even got a little bed on it. And $90, not bad, man. The side skirts are wacky looking, but I'm all in it. So this was the genesis of this, was to build a rig to make like a competent crawler, something capable, but then outfitted with just terrible electronics, namely the Reedy. But then, the longer I sat and the more I thought about it, the more it occurred to me that what we're doing is, I think, missing an opportunity. Wait, we gotta scooch. We gotta scooch that a little bit. Okay. What we're doing is we're missing an opportunity, because what we can do is we can do something very Canyon-like here. Perhaps the most Canyon-like thing that we could do, which is, if anybody remembers the Jodie Foster film Contact, where they were gonna send her in the spinning sphere to go to like visit aliens, and terrorists blew it up, and they had built a second one in secret, and the guy said, why build one when you can build two for twice the cost? That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Canyon way. So we're going to build two of the exact same thing. Completely identical, save for one thing. I was genuinely, and I was truly and genuinely hoping for an Amazon intervention, that Amazon would come through for me with the delivery that is scheduled for today. But I haven't even gotten a shipment notification. The differential, yep. More G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe keeps coming hard with the 6-inch figures. And I want them all. I want them all. The 12-year-old inside me that is eternal wants them all. So we've still got Zorana over here. Zorana's going in the CJ build. Oh my God, I forgot about that build being unfinished. I don't know if you can hear it. It's full on raining now. Maybe it'll stop and then I can paint bodies. I have too many bodies to paint.
So I was just gonna ask, which one of these do I tighten down right now?
Oh, to lock it out?
To lock it out.
So this, I think back is big overdrive.
Okay.
And forward is small overdrive, so you'd want to lock it in the front position.
Okay, like it is.
And then you're going to have dig, right? Or no dig?
Probably no dig for now.
Okay, then so you want them both locked forward.
Lock forward. Beautiful.
He's almost done building that VFD twin. So of the GI Joes, the two guys that hung out with Zartan and Zorana, the twins Tomax and Zaymot, I have ordered those figures as well, and I'm gonna paint one red and one blue. We're gonna have a red one and a blue one. It's red versus blue, and because what got me thinking. Oh yeah, speaking of which. I put stuff in front of the beadlock drawer. So the Canyon favorite, silver 105s. And then because of putting the wider wheels on our Genom, we have as of yet incomplete silver 105s. They're both getting silver 105s. They are both getting cut canyon trails. They're both getting the same everything. They're both getting the same everything. And this all grew out of me having that idea, the random idea one day to just go, hey, can everybody send me in all of their Reedy crap? Because then what we're going to do is we're going to take one of them and we're going to put a Reedy SC480 with the 14 turn or whatever in it. And then we'll put an SC400 in this guy. And literally hot swap between one from one to the other and be like, oh, that is different. That does feel different. Oh, okay. They do. No, red and blue or red and blue. We don't know who's who. There will be one difference. So when they roll over, you'll be able to tell the difference because on Amazon, they didn't have enough. The seller only had one pair left and the seller only had one pair left. So one of them is getting black drive shafts and the other one's getting silver drive shafts. But other than that, I just ordered everything twice. Something like a two-tone that changes between them, one black and white and one white and black. No, it's gotta be a red one and a blue one because if you look up Tomax and Zaymot, the twins from G.I. Joe, they're basically red and blue. So there's gonna be a red one and a blue one. And I'm hoping that I already have red and blue paints and that I won't have to source those as well. And they're going to be painted from the inside and they're not going to be anything fancy because I don't know exactly when it happened. But the idea of growing the test fleet, I guess. HVO-TO3 is well, okay. HVO-TO3 has never seen G.I. Joe, and he has an excuse. For many of us of a certain generation, the height of G.I. Joe was before I got my driver's license. So, like the early 80s. So, yeah, that's the G.I. Joe I remember. And now that they're re-releasing all the figures, man, it's something else. FMS made a 1/12 MB scaler that's arguably better than the 1/6, and that would fit the 6-inch G.I. Joes. Oh, I know, because the 1/12 is like correct, is closer to what a 1/10 should actually be. Yeah, don't make me get another FMS. Oh, fishing is the way my brain fits and there is a second set of these links. I realized I didn't throw it onto the pile, but there is a second set of the links. This is the beauty of the how am I supposed to watch G.I. Joe? A real American hero. Here's the thing. I don't remember the last time I sat down and actually watched a G.I. Joe, but did I have the battle carrier that every boy from the 80s wanted but his parents would never buy from the Sears catalog? Hunk of love? I kid you not. I was just talking to a buddy of mine not 24 hours ago about the USS Flag, right? Which, if my childhood memory is correct, I want to say, now back then, so we're talking about 80s money, I want to say that aircraft carrier was about $400, right? Which, at that time, the twins were Cobra, 100%. $400 at that time in the 80s was my allowance was $5 a week. So a $400 aircraft carrier. Go look up the USS Flag on eBay. There's one on eBay for $7,000. My first 2 cars combined didn't cost $7,000. I will never be at a point in my life where I have enough disposable income to buy a $7,000 toy aircraft carrier. Would I want one? I mean, yeah. I wonder where you can probably find episodes of G.I. Joe on YouTube. You can find everything on YouTube. So, in the vein of $7,000 G.I. Joe aircraft carriers, and me thinking back to being about 14 years old and selling off every G.I. Joe I had so that I could buy a stereo, yeah, regrets. I remembered that I had a box out here in the shed. And I don't know if these are in good enough condition to fetch any money. But in terms of things that far predate HVTO3, if there are anybody out there who remember, Simon, like you were prescient. Simon, you have been prescient. Did I watch Robotech? Let me tell you, did I watch Robotech? Wait, let me grab another one. I looked these up on eBay as well. And now I'm going to have to see if I can sell off some pieces of my childhood on eBay in the hopes of buying more crawler stuff. Simon, I have the full Macross saga on DVD, which my wife bought me. I have several of the books of the art of Robotech, the like the line drawings and all that stuff. Robotech was my first exposure to anything Japanese, and apparently, now I wouldn't say, because mine were toys and we played with them as such, but this guy right here, those things mint in the box are like $500, like crazy. The only one of the hover tank that I could even find was $450. I mean, I want to list these up on eBay for like $100 each and just grab that quick money. They've been gathering dust in a cardboard box in the loft in this building for over 10 years. So yeah, Rick Hunter's plane, his Veritech, which transforms, but I can't bring myself to it turns into, it does the legs. It does the swing down legs thing. But these are old man stuff. These all have the Matchbox 1985 stamped on the side of them. And as soon as I saw $400 a piece on eBay, I was like, think of how much more useless toy car stuff that we could buy if we sell these to some people that have more disposable income than I do.
I gotta get to the kiddo.
Yeah.
All good though.
Look at you. There's the $55 VFD twin has been completed. The only thing it was missing was we got to do a little surgery down here. You got a big sprue chunk on there. Yeah, now you're good. I'm a little sour about it. I'm a little sour about it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I wish I lived closer to the canyon. My 3D printed RC 114 scale loader would be fun to move some dirt around. Heck yeah! Better than talking about GoBots. If people when people ask me what are channels that I watch, it used to be called Toy Galaxy, and now it's called Secret Galaxy, Dan Larson. It is stuff made for my generation, because it has like the in-depth breakdowns of G.I. Joe and the Transformers and Robotech, which I never knew that the Macross saga, what we got, and we have a little bit from each generation, right? When you'd had the Zentradi and then the Invid, when we had all that stuff, they took elements from 3 different unrelated Japanese series and just mushed them together. This is called a Veritech. This guy's gonna fall down. He doesn't stand up great. This is called a Veritech. And see, there's the head, and there's the gun that it would hold in its hands. The wings do swing, and it would transform into a robot. There's jets, and then there were its feet. And yeah, it was the absolute coolest. So it's a VF1 Veritech fighter. I wasn't as much a Rick Hunter guy. I was a Roy Fokker man myself. Something about Rick Hunter's hair. I don't know. But yeah, man, does it take me back. I had so many Transformers too. So many Transformers. And then Teenage Brain, I guess. I literally went down to the swap meet and sold all my G.I. Joes. And I had the hovercraft. I had the whatever they called the Tomcat. I can't even remember, but you pulled the lever and it would swing the wings out. I sold that. I had the helicopter with Wild Bill. So many Cobra vehicles, you name it, and just sold it all. Now, in that intervening period, had I not sold it all, where would I have kept it? I mean, these guys were in one little document box. And there's a couple more little pieces over there, but we can't hold on to everything forever. Oh yeah. A Transformer named Jetfire, yeah. Almost exactly like it. Yeah. That style, yeah, for sure. I don't think I saved a single one of the Transformers. I'm almost as bitter about that as I was about selling all the G.I. Joes. Takara Tomy is still cranking out Transformers, yeah. Well, the G.I. Joes, I mean, like, you look at the driver that we put in the CJ and Zorana that we're going to put in the CJ7. These new... Oh, you had parents. That's how you got cool toys. No, I didn't. If you want to go back even further than my prehistory before schooling, you remember I talked about my grandmother deciding where I would go to high school and that I was definitely going to go to college. I lived with my grandmother from the age of 10. My parents divorced when I was 3, and my father, what's a way to say it in a monetized fashion? My father was riding the white pony. Is that how they would say it? And I became a full-blown, diagnosed by a child psychologist, latchkey kid. The terminology applied to many of us from Generation X, where from around the age of 5, I did my own laundry, cooked my own food, got myself ready for school, did all my homework, did all that with 0 adult supervision. I didn't. This was all accrued from my maternal grandmother. May she rest in peace. Because she would take me to fancy toy stores and buy stuff like this, because I was a product of divorce and a child of neglect. So that's how I got this kind of stuff. That's how I got a lot of the G.I. Joe too, because my other grandmother, whom I lived with, was a strong, sturdy Midwestern woman, and you worked for what you got. And if you don't get what you don't get upset. That's how we operated. You also cleaned your plate, when you were done, you turned off the light when you left the room. It was the whole thing. So yeah, I had no. Someone knocked while Mom was at work. I remember being told to hide. Never answer the door. Never answer the phone. Yeah, I might have related this story before. If not, what better way to wrap up than with some recollection of childhood traumas? I can never eat oatmeal. Not ever again. I am perfectly content with an oatmeal raisin cookie. I kind of actually prefer them. I like an oatmeal raisin cookie. But while my stint of being a latchkey kid and being left alone and not seeing an adult other than the teacher at school of any kind for sometimes 2 weeks at a time, the only food in the house, now mind you, I'm in 3rd grade, so I'm probably 8 years old, and the only food in the house is Quaker instant oatmeal. Now, the microwave has not been invented yet, or is at least not available commercially to the average person. So I would make water in I would boil water in a tea kettle on the stove, and I would make packets of Quaker instant oatmeal. And like a fool, I would eat the flavors that I liked first, leaving only the red banded packet, which was plain oatmeal, for last. And then there's no food left in the house, so I would eat Quaker instant hot oats with nothing in it. There's nothing to put in it. There's no sugar, there's no butter, there's no any of that, just straight hot oats. And when talking about that to you right now, the thought of hot oatmeal rises up that lump in the back of my throat, you know, where you feel like you're going to throw up, because I can't. There's too much not very deep trauma. There's too much trauma right at the surface, centered around oatmeal. Poor oatmeal. A lot of people would say, you know what's the best thing you can have for breakfast? Get you started on a day? Big piping hot bowl of oatmeal. And I'm like, I would rather you kick me in the face, because I haven't eaten oatmeal in 42 years. and I won't. And yeah, you got to remember, this is 1979, 1980. No microwave. I lived in Forest Falls, California, where it snowed and we had actual winter, and you'd wrap your feet in plastic bags, plastic grocery bags, and put your shoes on. Oh, because you don't have snow boots, you don't have snow clothes. Yeah, I don't want to sound like I'm playing the world's tiniest violin, but I mean, I don't want to say that there's some underlying reason that that I play with toy cars on the internet for a quote unquote living now, but my God, I will never eat the hot oatmeal again. So we all compensate in our own ways. Oh yeah, Gares, let me tell you, our tales of being left to our own devices and raising ourselves through the 70s and the 1980s, it is not unique to us, man. Gen X was the generation of neglect, man. They just let us run feral, and bread bags over your boots. Absolutely. and to HVTO3, who I assume was born in the 2000s, this has to seem very, very foreign. Sometimes I like to get a small handful of raw old-fashioned oats with a little salt. Oh, dear God. Literally, it gives me, like, it chokes me up to even think about eating oatmeal. I can't. My wife has a similar feeling with, and here you go. She's Gen X as well, deep Gen X, just like me. Artichokes. When she was in some sort of parochial school, her parents are hardcore Catholic. Her dad was a deacon for ages and ages. She was at some sort of school, some sort of Christian school, Catholic school, where they were making small children, like single-digit age children, eat artichokes. What? I know a fair share of adults that won't eat artichokes. Imagine giving like a 9-year-old kid an artichoke, right? So she has these, her trauma embedment is as deep but different, and mine is oat based and hers is artichoke based, and zucchini. She won't eat like any squash, zucchinis, any of it, because they used to get made a thing called zucchini surprise, and just the sound of the phrase zucchini surprise makes me not want to eat that. Oh, God. Cream of wheat, luckily, my wife loves cream of wheat. Cream of wheat it's as close as I can imagine you can get a foodstuff to being sawdust. I just can't. Cream of wheat, wait, no, let me hush it. Cream of wheat is the food version of coffee, where you either like it or you don't. And you can either add so much stuff into it to make it not coffee anymore. I like coffee. I don't like coffee. Like, I can't drink. You pour me a black cup of coffee, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. If you put ground up chocolate bits in it and put whipped cream on top of it and stuff and make it a caffeinated milkshake, hey, I'm on board. My wife, cream of wheat is worse than oatmeal. To an average person, I can see how that would absolutely be true. About a week ago, my wife said, "You know what I'm craving?" And I said, "I have no idea." She said, "A smoothie." I said, "I'll go to the Jamba. It's right down the street." I got her an Aloha pineapple. I'm standing there waiting for them to make it, and I think, what would I drink that's here? They don't really have anything chocolatey. They had and it was called like a Sweet Cloud cold brew, if anybody who knows where I'm going with this. So I was like, well, I'll just get that. I'm here. Why not? I get a Sweet Cloud cold brew, and it was medium sized, and I drank it. For those unaware, a Sweet Cloud cold brew has 211 milligrams of caffeine. That is 6.5 cans of Coke. I was losing my mind. I had the cold sweats. I had hot sweats. I felt jittery. I went outside and started raking. I was just raking as vigorously as I could to try to like burn it out of my system. And then I bent down to try to, like, I was picking up weeds or something, and I must have bent just enough that I felt like I was going to black out and vomit simultaneously. I was like, you're going to throw up puke. So I just went into the house and laid down and basically blacked out. Like, I was so wired up, I passed out. Remember how we're going way back now to where I have no tolerance to medication? I drank 6.5 cans of Coke. I can't drink carbonated beverage, so I haven't had a Coke in over 10 years. In a beverage this tall. That was as close as I can get to real coffee, and it almost, I think, almost killed me. It took me like 25, blood pressure over 9,000. I think if you had cut me, I could have Spider-Man, I could have, and just sprayed an arterial burst. Yeah, I'm afraid of coffee now, like actual coffee. My wife drinks the McCafe medium roast, like 2 cups a day. Life is afraid of you. Man, no real coffee. Thank God I don't do alcohol or anything. Oh my God. Okay. So, from about the age of 12, say 12 to 17, I would spend a couple weeks every summer with my mother. And my mother is an authentic hippie. Yes, I was talking about pseudo earlier. My mother was an authentic hippie who followed the Grateful Dead and lived in a bus. Okay? Not suited for motherhood. Did not want to be a mother from the outset. So I didn't. I've never basically lived with my mother, but I would spend about a week, 10 days every summer with my mother. And if you're a follower of the Grateful Dead who lives in a bus, there's a certain amount of smoking that goes on. Smoking. Smoking. I had no medium-term memory for about 6 or 7 years of my life. So I have no idea what weed stuff would do to me. Like the gummies, the brownies, any of that. I don't, it's not a road that I'm ready to go down because I have, and I don't know if you've noticed, I have something of an addictive personality. I've been accused of this in the past where buy a rock crawler, it'll be fun. Next thing you know, there's 50. Don't ride a bicycle for 20 straight years. Buy a bicycle, ride 56,000 miles in 5 years. That's how I do. So, please don't give me weed brownies because next thing you know, I'll be perfecting the recipe on weed brownies and sampling all of my own weed brownies, and then I feel like my productivity would fall off a little bit. As I said early on in this, I've been up since 4:45 in the morning. I've been up for 11 hours at this point, and I'm fairly still wired at this point. And I built a fence and painted a fence and painted some trim and filmed a video and did this and cleaned the building because usually like it's not presentable in here when I first get started. So I've been going. I just got the ship notification from Amazon. That's a shame. I wanted them to time that better. Will be delivered today. And it stopped raining. It doesn't... Oh, arriving today between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. So for those who didn't look him up, he's kind of a goober-looking chief. Well, that's a bad focus. Focus. There, I mean, he's just floating in a white snowy background. There we go. Yeah, and I think his brother has the shoulder thing on the other arm. But yeah, we're gonna slap him in there. We're gonna build 2 identical vehicles. We're gonna do some stuff. I smoked a lot in the 80s. I too, while never putting it to my lips, I smoked a lot in the 80s. And my wife, and to close, really to close, my wife has accused me on more than one occasion of, she goes, I can't blame you for everything. And I go, what's that supposed to mean? And she goes, it's probably fetal alcohol syndrome. And I go, what's that supposed to mean? And she goes, you do realize that your response to most things is anger and or violence. And I go, that's just being a dude. She goes, that's fetal alcohol syndrome. There are guys out there who can get mad at things and not express their anger through rage. And I was like, listen, I'm way calmer than I used to be. And she goes, yeah, but it's taken 30 years. So there you go, everybody. It's only taken 30 years. I can't argue that it's not fetal alcohol syndrome. It's too late now. It's way too late now. I can't eat oatmeal. My back hurts all the time. I haven't even repressed the traumas. If there are repressed traumas, Lord God, how bad must those be that I've repressed them? Because my whole childhood was just trauma from what I remember. It's when my youngest is complaining about something and I just look at them blank-faced and I'm hoping that I don't look like a psychopath, because I'm like, when I was your age, I was already a full-blown adult. I was a full-blown adult by the time I was 6 years old, and it's not good. That is all trauma. And then my wife with the fetal alcohol syndrome. So fetal alcohol syndrome, adult by 6, we have to put the childhood at the end. I didn't get the childhood at the beginning, so we have to put the childhood at the end. And it works out better this way as far as I'm concerned, because we didn't have stuff when my childhood was taking place. Oh, as Miata Commuter has just pointed out, don't forget about the leaded gas. Look up a guy, I think the video of it is on YouTube, where a guy talks about the correlation between inner city violence and leaded gas. And whenever a city would phase out leaded gas, the violence in that city would just drop off precipitously. And they talk about it as a correlation is not causation effect type of thing. But then they go, but at the same time, how else do you explain it? So yeah, we're slowly reaching the age where waking up without something hurting means we died. If my ears ain't ringing and my knees ain't popping and it'll just barely held together. And then the arthritis, the full arthritis in my spine. Here's the thing. This is how you know you're reaching the age. When you're thankful that the arthritis is just in your spine and not in your hands or in your feet. Or I see the people walking around with the full-blown wrist brace on, and I'm like, I'm glad I have iron forearms and I don't have to worry about it. We sounds like a broken diff. I wake up feeling like a bowl of Rice Krispies. Yep. Yeah, I don't know what it is. My kid gets you push the wrist and then you roll it and it will do it every time. And they're like, don't do that. It's probably not good. And I'm like, that thing's been popping since I was a kid. I probably fell bad on this wrist at one point and bent it up pretty good. When you get an injury from dusting the fireplace, you know you're getting older. A buddy of mine who is about 10 years younger than me sneezed and threw his back out. He did one of those. Sneezed and threw his back out. And I was like, brother, driver 8, you're old when you hurt yourself sleeping. There is no time of day I feel worse than the 5 minutes after I've rolled out of bed in the morning. Honest to God, I can build an entire building in 2 days. Frame it, roof it, paint it, everything, and feel better than when oh my God, I slept last night for 5 hours and 15 minutes. Like, that's better. 8 hours of sleep, I would have hurt more. Yeah, but as long as we're hurting, and my right shoulder, there's something up with that. I think I tore a rotator in that thing doing something, because it's slowly getting better, but not quickly enough. Sure glad for all the clean living. I did clean living, man, but I'm still falling apart. It turns out because I'm tall. That's what Bone Doctor said. Bone Doctor was like, you're tall. The world isn't built for you. You have to bend too much. And I was like, great. Thanks. Awesome. So yet another drawback to being tall. Can't buy shirts. Can't buy socks. Can't buy gloves. Can't get pants that are small enough in the waist but long enough in the leg. Is also, you've had to bend too much for your entire life, and now you have arthritis at 50. But I got diverticulitis at 40, so, God, I can't wait to see. If I live till 60, I can't wait to see what's 60, and what's going to fall apart at 60. I'm glad we can laugh at this, but that's how we've been brought up. The young kids at work complain, and we look at them like you look at your son. Yeah, yeah. I have said to my kids in the exact words to their face, I want you to understand something, that your life is never going to be easier than it is right now. You have no responsibilities, none. And you know how I know this? Because you don't do anything all day, and the wheels on the bus, they keep turning. That's the thing. Somebody out here making the wheels turn, that's me, man. You know why the toilet always flushes? Do you know why there's no wind blowing through the house? That's me, man. So sometimes just let me sit down. Just let me sit down and have some quiet time. I just want to think about nothing for a little while. Or do this. Youth is 100% wasted on the young. This right here, what we've just participated in, what we've just done, is pretty much the most relaxed I get in a given week, because the other responsibilities, those are for later. Those are for future me, and it's a different future me than is going to have to sort out that Panhard situation, a different me that's going to have to clean out this collection of nonsense, a different me that's going to have to do all of the other little things. There's future me's. Oh, Bonita Creek RC says, I dislocated my shoulder and had to sleep in the recliner for a week. When I got my first, I was undiagnosed with the arthritis. The pain was so intense in my lower back, I slept on the floor for 6 months. 6 months on the floor. And then finally went and they said, get the hardest mattress you can. And IKEA's like, we have a mattress called Plank. You can sleep on Plank. So we have a firm mattress, a firm, and it's still almost not firm enough. I can no longer sit on the sofa and watch TV. The sofa's too soft. Blows my back out. Yeah, I feel like I shouldn't be here. The last 15 minutes have been the complete opposite of my life. Well, enjoy your privilege. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. I'm not saying that any of that stuff. We all wish, right? But we had it 70s, man. There were 5 channels on the TV. 5. And they came in over an antenna. So if there was bad weather, sometimes it was only 2 channels. And there was no internet, and there were no cell phones, and it was amazing. Except that it also sucked. So we have nostalgia for it, but then at the same time we remember, not great. I sleep on an airbed from Walmart. How? How do you live? Yeah, old folk talk. You'll get there. That's the thing, HVTO3. We'll all be dead, but you'll get there. You'll get there, and you'll talk about the good old days, and you'll talk about how the future sucks, and yeah, I'm gonna drink a coffee drink. And all talking about our health problems. That's because we're all old. Sal Trippin, I wish. I inquired about this. I can't physical therapy my lower back pain away because it's arthritis. It's the degradation of the cartilage. So it's bone meets bone. It's only going to get worse. It's never going to get better. Oh, Shaker MT showed up for the last minute. He must have been driving a truck somewhere across this great land. We drank from garden hoses in the hot sun. And well, here's the thing, because we could. Can you even buy a hose today that isn't like an RV hookup hose that doesn't have the little label wrapped to it that says do not drink out of this hose? Because all the brass fittings have lead in them. I mean, we would have drank out of the hose anyway. 600 miles today. Whew. I'm glad my neck still mostly works. Hot water from the garden hose, I can still taste it. There's still, every once in a while, there's a temptation. I have a temptation to just drink water out of the hose. Like when I'm out back and I have my filthy Nalgene sleeve over my water bottle and there's only a little bit of water left in it. I'm like, I could just grab a sip out of the hose. And then I remember, listen, you soft bastard. You've got a reverse osmosis filter under the sink that you fill these with. You'd get a mouthful of that water and do the, just spit all the water out because you've gone soft. You're not 12 years old anymore. You can't fall off your bike and hop right back up and drink water out of the hose and rub some dirt on it. You're going to have to rest and recuperate for 2 weeks. So, hoping to avoid resting and recuperating for 2 weeks. I have no idea what project is in the pipe next, because there are inarguably things that are not yet finished and should be finished. I do have the excuse of not working on things that haven't been painted, but it now has, the germ is present in my mind of the bugger, the UTB-18, which, being a hard body, is assembled enough, does not need to be painted to get ghost ridden. And the ESC is sitting here right behind me. I just have to solder the motor up to it and throw a battery in it and get that done. So in this upcoming week, I would at least hope to get the Spider out there and the UTB-18 out there. The shed is almost done. The fence is almost done. A new obstacle will be getting put in out there. We'll go through that together. And yeah, all that usual stuff. I will go through the emails and I will get these items sent out to people. And the delay where Erwin just said, "Do we get an update?" And I was just doing that. So yeah, videos. As HVOTO3 provided me, we've got like 20 plus quick view reduxes that need to be done. I'm going to try to whittle that down a little bit. Like there's some that I'm not sure are worth revisiting. We're going to revisit the ones that get frequent usage for sure. I'm going to send you a package or two from the email. Front weights, new tires. Awesome. That's awesome. The Shaker M2 would have missed. It's going to get a run or two on a Radiolink Cool 9030, so we can try it on a 4S, see what it looks like on 4S. And yeah, we've got things. We've definitely got things. And remember, there's always the comments. If there's something you want to see, there's a From the Comments video coming up in the next couple days. That's what I filmed this morning. I love From the Comments because most often it's something that I wouldn't have thought of. And that's great because then you're doing half the work for me. Oh, so another, where have you guys been? Yeah, and HVTO3, you got no worries. You are a youth. You have a life ahead of you, and you discovered crawlers young, which is far better than many of us have. Like, I discovered RC cars young, but didn't get crawlers until just a couple of years ago. And I mean, I could have been YouTubing a lot longer, too. Who knows? A video about tips for body painting would be nice. I've done a couple patina ones. I've done more than one patina one. Painting the inside of a body, I could do one of those real quick. Real quick. It's so simple. It's just like every other paint. It's prep. It's all prep. And then light coats. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what the week brings us. And I mean, come on. I think the Midwest Goodbye started 28 minutes ago. So maybe a record. Maybe a record. I then take this opportunity to thank you, one and all, those few of you that are still up on here. Thank you so much for attending this week's live, the Crawler Canyon Live. And I look forward to seeing you all in the comments coming up throughout the week. We'll have a Wheelin' Wednesday again this upcoming Wednesday. We'll have some quick views and some reduxes. And yeah, I've got some. I was sent in from the Great White North a couple sets of 3D printed inserts. We're going to test these out. These are kind of wild. I've got some plans on testing those. I've got some little tires to test. We were trying to get Lord Pentaby, first of his name, ready for those kind of testing. Yeah. I have no shortage of content to be made. The only shortage might potentially be the motivation and or energy to make it, or the time to find the energy to make it. So, thanks again, everybody. It's the best part of my week is y'all, hanging out with y'all. And I look forward to seeing you here again and in the comments again. And to make this official, that in between now, which is now, and when we meet again, whenever that might be, I do at least recommend that you one and all do your very best. Have a good one, everybody. We will see you next time here from the Canyon. It was lovely having you. And I will see you all again, hopefully